Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to the WD Broadcasting Network. And here tonight we are at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, and we are getting set and ready to go for the 25th annual original online All American 400. Last night we covered the initial qualifying runs and heat races for the event. And tonight is going to be the 400 lap main event. We've had a long week of racing leading up to this moment right here. A lot of good racing action so far here at the historic 6/10 of a mile oval in Nashville, Tennessee. And tonight will be no different as we have 400 laps and a lot of cars here tonight. Going to put on a great show for you guys. I am Winston Deal on the mic right here, joined by my co-host Colton Coe, making his debut in a big race like this. So, Colton, are you excited coming into tonight?
Yes, I'm always excited to come and announce a race, especially here in Nashville. It's a very, very fast track. Things happen very fast, so looking forward to seeing what these guys do here tonight. 400 laps is a long time around here, so it's gonna be attrition and who can manage their stuff the best, because that's really what it's gonna come down to is who's got the best tires at the correct time here tonight.
Yeah, just a couple things to go on about the race and some information for you guys in the chat here. Um, so these guys are going to have 6 sets of tires for 400 laps. So tires really shouldn't be an issue, but the tire strategies will be present throughout the race, as you said. Fuel is going to be another thing that these guys are going to have to watch. Usually in a normal super late model race, 100 laps, you're not going to have to worry about the fuel, but 400, you will have to make several stops here tonight. One thing that iRacing is notorious for is people get a fast repair. Well, unfortunately, tonight, these drivers not having a quick fix down in the pits, so they're going to have to be easy with their cars and make sure they can make them last all 400 laps, as that is going to be the key to success here tonight. Be there at the end. Colton, you've seen many times how these big super late model races go in real life as well as on iRacing. Being there in the end is somewhat of a victory in its own, and that presents even more opportunity to capture the checkered flag.
Many people are going to go into the race tonight wanting to win, hungry for that win or a very, very good result, but others might be coming in here just wanting to finish. Finishing these races is just as hard as winning them because you got to be there at the end to win. And being there at the end is at one of these races is incredibly hard when you just got a bunch of cars around you and stuff happens fast here in Nashville. So it's going to be an achievement in its own, I think, if for some of these guys, if they just can bring the car to the checkered flag with not a lot of damage to it, but it should be a very fun and interesting race. I expect not a lot to happen at the start. People are just going to try and click off laps, not tear up their stuff, and maybe in the last 100 to 75 laps, it's go time. You got to put your pedal to the metal and put the cars there. Otherwise, you're not going to be in a good position.
Yeah, I think you put it best right here. You're just going to have the car in a position to take the victory in order to actually pick up the victory. But a lot of guys already practicing their qualifying speed right here on our screen, the 53 machine Nathan Coaster. And actually, Colton, fortunately, me and you got to talk to Nate before this and got to spend a lot of time with Nate and his buddy Alex Sexton before this race. And we've seen how they've prepared coming into tonight. Luckily, I feel they've done a pretty good job of preparing. But Colton, how do you think a couple of these other drivers who we haven't quite gotten to see firsthand how they prepared? What do you think they have prepared by?
They probably prepared by being on the simulator a lot, running lots around here, learning with this setup how tire degradation is, and just how to work the tires in the best and make sure they keep them in a working window. I imagine each and every single one of these drivers has at least 1 to 200 laps of practice around here, just making sure that they know how these tires are going to be in the long run and how hard they can push them, because If you don't have that knowledge, you could just go out there and bring your stuff up, or you could just run super slow because you're afraid of burning your stuff up when the tires can accept more. So I imagine that a lot of these drivers have been digging hard on the simulator in the last couple days, trying to get that knowledge into their brain to put forward into this race.
Yeah, as just went ahead and fixed the sound of the broadcast. I saw a couple things down in the chat as well as I was noticing a few things. So we got that figured out. I think we're ready to go for 400 laps of racing. Colton, we've talked about the drivers' struggles, but there's also a lot of other people involved in these events. The race officials, the spotters involved in this as well. What does it take to get through an endurance event like this? I mean, 400 laps is a lot longer than anyone is used to running, especially in a super late model like this here tonight. What's it going to take for everybody to get through the event and have a good time?
It's just gonna take a lot of hard work and a lot of positive attitudes. You can't get a negative attitude towards this race, otherwise you're just not gonna have any fun. And this is what this race is for. It's to have fun and test the limits of these race cars. And if you're not having fun, then why even race? Because that's what the point of these races are, is to mainly have fun. Yeah, there's a lot of competition, but at the end of the day, you want to have fun. Otherwise, you're gonna take 1 to 2 hours out of your Saturday night and just waste it because you have no fun. You got to have fun to enjoy your life. But it's I think the race officials, they got to stay up on it. Nobody can get tired tonight. That's another thing. This race could run very late, so you cannot get tired and start to wear off, especially for the drivers, because the drivers are going to be the ones driving the car, and 400 laps can be very, very wearing on them. So I think it's just going to be, keep your head clear. Don't get too angry too early, and have fun. Just don't let the fatigue get to you, because otherwise you're gonna start falling off the pace. Yeah, you're likely not gonna win, but just got to keep a positive attitude towards everything. That's what I've learned to keep in my head while I've been doing these races, and I always seem to have a lot of fun with them. So you just got to keep your mind clear and have a fun time.
Yeah, and one thing you mentioned right there was the fun factor of this. A lot of these people don't really come towards iRacing with the perspective of trying to make money and do good all the time. It's more of a amusement factor, and I mean, especially with our personal group, especially Colton on iRacing, we like to have a lot of fun. So that's going to be a very important factor for the success of these guys in this race. Speaking of success, right now, right where they left off last night, Nathan Coaster, Zach Nichols, 1 and 2 on the board. I believe that's how it was in practice last night. So these guys have really got it figured out, and I think they've well established themselves as some of the favorites coming into tonight's race. Some other guys we haven't talked about quite as much. Matt Kemp in the one machine coming down the front straightaway right here. You look at him as well as Zach Nichols. They got a similar looking design on those machines. They are joined by a few others as well. As I'm trying to find them on my timing screen right here. Cy Bowen in the number 7 machine with the same kind of wrap right there as well. That makes up No Chance Motorsports. So those guys obviously having a lot of speed. All 3 of them right there in the top 7. So a lot of speed from those guys. Dalton Collins, the 95 machine. He's sitting in the 5th spot. No stranger to iRacing. I've raced with Dalton quite a bit. And he's a very tough competitor. Going to be hard to get around if he gets out front here tonight. So 4 minutes left in practice. You're not going to miss a thing. We're going to go to our non-stop screen here and give this a test before we send them green for qualifying. Bada bing, bada boom. Alrighty, folks, we are back here on the WD Broadcasting Network, coming at you live from the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, getting set for the 25th annual original online All-American 400, presented by Brooks Motorsports. Up on the top left of your screen right there, Jake Brooks doing a nice job putting together a nice event. He also puts on the Mid-South iRacing Tour on Wednesday nights with the Super Late Model Division, and actually making their debut race tomorrow night, the 358 Series. So definitely going to be a fun race you're not going to want to miss. And guess what? It'll all be right here on the WD Broadcasting Network. So this might just be your place for your local or for iRacing content a couple nights of the week. If you like what we're doing here, you're having a fun time in the comment section below. Let us know by giving us a thumbs up, sharing the video around. But nonetheless, a minute left of practice. Colton, so far it's been Nathan Coaster and Zach Nichols at the top of the board this entire practice session. Will we see anybody beat the McDermott Equipment Solutions number 53 in qualifying?
I highly doubt it. Nathan Coaster is very, very impressive on the simulator. Every single session that I've ever been with him, he's always right at the top. And so is Zach Nichols. I rarely race with him, but he's a very, very good driver as well. So it's going to be interesting to see who can go quicker in qualifying. Obviously, qualifying's not going to really matter as much. Obviously, you want to start up front, but it's a 400-lap race. A lot of stuff happens, and you can make up a lot of positions over the course of 400 laps. So therefore, qualifying will not really matter as much. But it still does matter for sure, because Nashville's very, very hard at overtaking. Track's notorious for it. So, yeah, obviously people are going to be wanting to start up front for the better track position, but I expect to see the 53 and the 44 machine right at the top of the standings.
Yeah, track position, a very big role here in how the story of this race is going to go, and we're going to find out how exactly they're going to start in just a couple moments as we are throwing the checkered flag on qualifying, and we will now be heading into our Brooks Motorsports qualifying sessions. So as everybody gets set and ready to go, we're gonna peek in on everybody's qualifying runs and see who exactly will go fast time right here tonight. So we're gonna just wait 1 second for the first car to head onto the racetrack. A couple guys wasting no time. Right here, the 95 of Dalton Collins going around the inside of the 1/4 mile oval right there. He makes his way onto the racetrack. That's the thing I've seen quite a bit early on this week, was guys going into that little 1/4 mile and grabbing some heat in the tires and then going out for the qualifying run. So we're going to see how it plays out for Dalton right here. I believe he was 5th quick at the end of the practice session. As he comes out of turn number 4, he sees the green flag and he heads down the back straightaway. Fairgrounds a unique track, as you saw the front end of the car coming up right there in turns 1 and 2. Very bumpy surface here at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. And Dalton Collins on lap number 1. He's going to go to the top of the board with a 17.89. Right there, you see the bumps. Collins not happy with the car right there. He's going to slow it down a little bit and call it a day for qualifying. So looking for the next driver on the racetrack, Matt Kemp in the number 1 machine. He tags the wall, and that is not going to be good for the number 1 machine right there. We saw him tag the wall, so that's going to probably invalidate his lap times. And well, you know, obviously when you get into the wall and qualifying on iRacing, it invalidates the lap time. So how's that going to affect him for the rest of this race?
It's going to put him behind, obviously, right off the start, because he'll be starting right down at the bottom of the field. Like I said, it's 400 laps. It's a long time. Make up positions here and there. There's going to be wrecks. People are going to be, retiring from the race due to wrecks and just the car maybe not driving well and mistakes. So I think if Matt Kemp just stays mistake-free and can dodge some of the wrecks that could happen early, I think we're going to see him battled his way back towards the front of the field. Obviously, is a very, very fast and good driver here on the iRacing Sim. So I imagine we're going to see him make a charge from the rear.
Yeah, and right now, the No Chance Motorsports teammate, the Corgan Oil Company number 44 machine, Zach Nichols onto the speedway right now, but don't look any further as we have a new driver at the top of the standings. I believe that is Brandon Wilkinson in the number 56 machine. As it looks like my overlay might have just frozen here, so we'll take a quick break here in the WD Broadcasting Network to get that figured out and kind of see what's going on there, but we'll be right back in time for the drop of the green flag. All right, folks, we got everything sorted out here on the WD Broadcasting Network, and right there at the top of your screen, you see that Zach Nichols has gone to the top of the board. So Zach Nichols, Nathan Coaster, Brandon Wilkinson, Cy Bowen, and Dalton Collins, your current top five, with a lot of close lap times right there. So very close within the top five. As you look on the left side of your screen, you can see the top 20 competitors and see just how close it is. Just about a tenth of a second throughout the top 10 is number 9 of Alex Sexton rounding out the top 10, but everybody very close. Top 20 within the same 2-3 tenths of a second. So that just gives you an idea of how close these iRacing fixed setups can be, as it should be a pretty competitive race. And oh, as I say that, Shane Williamson going to the top of the board. So Williamson to the top spot, barely sneaking ahead of Zach Nichols in the number 44 machine. So with a few minutes left in the qualifying session here, Shane Williamson bringing out a lap capable of quick time. As I believe we just have three cars that have not taken a lap time. One of those being Matt Kemp, who we saw scrape the outside wall, so he won't pick up a lap in qualifying. He's going to be starting from the 33rd position. Colton, you said that's going to put him behind early, especially if we have a few cautions. And usually here at the fairgrounds, it's not in the front. If there's a car or a few cars in the back of the pack that get into a scuffle early on, Matt Kemp could be in a world of trouble.
Yeah, especially with no fast repair. You can mess this car up early and it'll never handle the same for the rest of the race. So he'll have to be careful making moves. That way the car will stay in a straight line. But what a lap there from Shane Williamson. Goes nearly a tenth quicker than his practice time to snag that pole position over Zach Nichols and Nathan Coaster. But very, very close times at the front. And it should be a very, very good and competitive race.
Yeah, as you said, very, very good and competitive. That's the key part right there. Usually, we see at the fairgrounds a lot of spread out racing with a car breaking away from the rest of the pack. But with times like this in qualifying, I'm just not seeing a race where everybody's spread out and cars are going laps down very quickly. So this should be a pretty good race. A lot of competition. Obviously, an important race here on the iRacing.com simulator. Many amazing names have won this very race right here, such as Josh Berry winning it 3 times in the past, and last year Ryan Kuhn collecting the victory. Those are 2 names that are no stranger to the iRacing world, and we're just going to find out here tonight who's going to add their name to that awesome list of drivers that have taken the checkered flag in the online All-American 400. So, folks, as we wrap up qualifying, we're going to step away for just a moment and get back in time for the drop of the green flag. Make sure you grab some popcorn and grab your seat, whatever you need to do before the start of this race, because I can promise you, folks, once we throw the green flag, you are not going to want to miss one thing. So we'll be right back on the WD Broadcasting Network. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, you see the cars starting to get on pit road and get set and ready to go. We are going for 400 laps here at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. You see the big field of cars right there, 33 seeing the green flag here today. And Colton, once again, we're going to be going row by row here on the WD Broadcasting Network. So you can just help me out here on the pole. The number 153 machine of Shane Williamson, and to his outside, it will be the No Chance Motorsports driver of Zach Nichols.
Starting in the third position, we have P1 Performance driver in the number 53 machine, Nathan Coaster. In the fourth position, we have the number 56 of Brandon Wilkinson.
Another No Chance Motorsports driver, Cy Bowen, rolling off in the fifth spot in the number 7 machine, and his outside, it will be the number 95 of Dalton Collins.
Rolling off in the seventh position, we have the number 54, a star of the Mid-South iRacing Tour, Mark Keatman, and to his outside, we have the number 2 of Greg Evans.
In the ninth spot, the 02, the Castle Speed Shop PWI Preferred Warranties P1 Performance 02 of Jimmy Gowker, and rolling off in the 10th spot, it will be Benny Hogan.
Starting in the 11th spot, we have P1 Performance driver and the 9 machine, Alex Sexton, and to his outside, we have the number 08 of Josh Smith.
Row number 7 will be the Crete, Illinois driver, the number 112 of Ethan Wolf, and Curtis Yancey going to be rolling off to his outside. In the 15th spot, Lane Holsler, Travis Wright, Alan Young, Brandon Thomas, Jake Brooks, and Jonathan Holstein rounding out your top 20. And Colton, I'll let you take us home here.
Rolling off in the 21st position, we have the number 21 of Cody Jordan, Zach Coyer, Ryan Strunk, Mark Myers, Bill Harkins, Jeff Dillon, Britt Van Meter, Craig Weigel, Steve Wright, Tim Knott, Jeffrey Eddy, Kenneth Farmer, and last but not least, Matt Kemp after that disastrous qualifying.
Yeah, Kemp going to be starting all the way back in position number 33. That's going to be quite a ways back there at the start of this race. So your pole sitter, Shane Williamson, going to be rolling off next to Zach Nichols in the number 44. And folks, in the chat below, I want to hear right now at the start of this race, who are you cheering for? Who's your guy? What are you here for? And anything you'd like to say before we wave the green flag for 400 laps of racing at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. As they head down the back straightaway. Colton, this is going to be a very long story of a dramatic race at the fairgrounds. Who's your pick as we head down the back straightaway and get ready to send them green?
It's really, really hard to bet against the guys in the second and third position as Zach Nichols and Nathan Coaster. Those are my picks.
Alrighty, well, as they make their way out of turn number 4, it's in the hands of Shane Williamson and Zach Nichols, and we are racing down into turns 1 and 2 in the 25th annual online All-American 400. Down the back straightaway they go. Zach Nichols able to get the nose on Shane Williamson for the top spot, but Williamson right back in the center of the corner. Here comes Nathan Coaster looking for the second spot. Leader of lap number 1 will be the 153 of Shane Williams.
Nichols will fall into that second spot right in line. Nathan Coaster in the third spot. Cy Bowen in the fourth spot as they will begin to click off laps here on the online All-American 400. Shane Williamson has to dodge a wreck into turn 1.
Yeah, the caution flag flies right there. I believe the number 60 of Steve Wright was stopped at the top of the racetrack. We'll take a look at what happened here with the WD Broadcasting Network replay. Unfortunately, it looks like he kind of blinked out there during the course of that accident, but we see him on our screen right here at the top of the racetrack, stopped in the outside wall, so unable to get a replay of what exactly happened, but the 60 machine stopped at the top of the racetrack. That puts us under yellow for the first time here tonight. And folks, I apologize. I realized at the beginning of this race I was calling your leader Shane Williams, and it's actually Shane Williamson, so apologize to Shane, but he is your leader still after a couple laps of racing. That's up front, the number 153. He got away nicely, and we saw the 44 of Nichols try to make a charge at him down the back straightaway, but Williamson able to prevail as they went into turns 1 and 2 that first time. So right now, not very much to report up front, but Williamson, Nichols, and Coaster able to keep their top spots. Cy Bowen into the 4th spot after starting 5th, and Brandon Wilkinson, your top 5 right here. And we'll take a look as the field makes their way through turns 3 and 4, and you see all of the 33 stars and cars of the 25th annual online All-American 400. So many drivers taking a lot of effort this week to practice and get laps in and make sure they have a good shot at the All-American 400. As they roll through turns 1 and 2. And down the back straightaway, the man of right now, Shane Williamson, the 153, qualified on the pole. To our surprise, we were kind of guessing that Nathan Coaster and Zach Nichols would sweep the top 2 spots, and for a while throughout the qualifying session they did. Then Shane Williamson had something to say about it. He went to the top spot, and right now he is still your leader on lap number 6.
It was a big surprise to see Williamson there take pole position, but that's racing's full surprises as they are still pacing here at Nashville. Still very early. Wasn't expecting to see a caution this early, but it is still very early into this event. A lot more can happen for tonight.
Yeah, and exactly what you said, Colton. Early on for them to be having a caution right here, lap number 7. I believe when we got the caution, it was only lap 2 or 3, so caution flag being waved. I believe we're going to see 1 to green this time by. As the field starts to double up down the front straightaway, the lights do go off on the iRacing.com pace car. So once again, it'll be Shane Williamson and Zach Nichols taking us to the green. Coaster and Bowen the second row, and Wilkinson and Keatman your third row. As they head down the back straightaway and into turn number 3. The iRacing.com pace car going to drop to the inside of the racetrack, make its way down pit road. As once again, Williamson and Nichols out of turn number 4. It's in the hands of Shane Williamson, and he goes nice and early. Nichols able to hang right there. As we are green flag racing down into turns 1 and 2. Williamson gets clear of the 44 of the 44 of Zach Nichols. I was watching Cy Bowen as he's battling for the third spot with the 53 of Nathan Coaster. Looks like Coaster going to kind of fall back and give way to Bowen right now as he collects the third position out of turn number 2. He's right here for the 8th position. Greg Evans was trying to battle with Benny Hogan in the number 5 for that 8th spot. Looks like it settles itself out for now. Meanwhile, out back, we got a couple cars side by side right here. Craig Weigel and Britt Van Meter, they are side by side, or they were side by side. Here comes the number 41 of Tim Knott trying to make a charge at it. So right now, some issues with our timing screen right there. We'll try to maintain camera up in the front of the pack right here so we don't have any more of those issues. But right now, your leader, Shane Williamson, is trying to log laps. You see everybody single file through the first set of corners. Colton, it's 400 laps here, and they're on lap 13. How important is it to get to the front right now at this stage of the race?
Not at all, to be honest. It's you want to keep your car going in a straight line. You don't want to burn your stuff up because this could turn into a very, very long green flag run. It's not at all important to get to the front right now. Only 14 laps into a 400 lap event. You got plenty of time to make your moves. So I think one person who will be trying to make moves very, very early will be that one car, Matt Kemp, trying to recover from a big mistake hitting the wall off turn 4 qualifying. I think he's going to be our biggest mover here early.
Yeah, as we check in on him right here, he's only up to, I believe, the 30th position as our timing kind of goes away right here. He is quite a ways behind. But as we go back up, I believe Kemp scored all the way back in position number 30 compared to his 33rd starting spot. So Kemp going to have to kind of pick up the pace if he wants to have his name up there in the early stages of this race. But obviously 400 laps, he's just got to make it to the end to really have a shot at this one. But so far, nobody has had a shot at the back bumper of Williamson so far. You're not going to miss a thing. We will go WD Broadcasting Network non-stop. Won't want to miss it. We will be right back in just a couple moments. Folks, we are back here on the WD Broadcasting Network. Apologize for that little thing popping up on the screen right there. It wasn't registering. The iRacing simulator was open, but right here on your screen, Shane Williamson back to the 5th spot. We saw Nichols get the nose to the inside right there, and Williamson went up the racetrack and A couple guys took advantage of that as he now finds himself in position number 5. New leader, Zach Nichols, down the back straightaway. Colton, we saw those guys up front racing with a lot of respect, and we saw Nichols get to the inside. Williamson not really hold him necessarily tight, just kind of fell back on that outside line. He's back to 5th. Nichols, your leader. What does the, well, I'm gonna ask this, what is the tire wear difference? What is the tire wear difference compared to up in clean air and out behind the leader?
When you're in dirty air, you're just sliding around a lot more, therefore it makes more degradation on the tire. But when you're out there and you got a clean track ahead of you, you can judge the pace. You can really save your tires and just kind of run a really good line to where it's really hard to pass you. So being the leader is a big advantage, especially here at Nashville, because you can just control the race and yeah, go really whatever speed that you want. And most of the time, the cars behind you will just kind of run at your pace, especially in a longer race, because they will not want to put up anything too surprising here in the first 30 laps.
Yeah, and just what you said right there, not everybody's going to want to go for it here early on, but as the laps start to wind down, we're going to see guys make more aggressive moves. But in the early stages of the race, on lap 28 right here, nobody really pushing the envelope to make anything happen right now as Nichols comes around off of turn number 4, ticks off just another lap, and that's what's going to take to be there at the end. Just ride around and take off laps. It's really the key to success in this race. It's up front right here. I've noticed the past couple laps, 54, the Matt Craig scheme, Mark Keatman, the driver of the 54 here tonight, but he's kind of been closing the gap to the 53 of Nathan Coaster. And Colton, if you look back a couple weeks in the Mid-South iRacing Tour finale, Mark Keatman was able to get around Nathan Coaster and run away to a victory right here at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. So, Colton, I believe you were a part of that race. Is Mark Keatman going to be one to mess with here later on?
For sure, he's one of the best in the business at saving tires and all-out pace. He knows exactly what to do at the right time in the run. So if he feels as though he can push a little harder here and still have the tire left at the end, he'll go for it. He's not afraid to try anything. He's a very talented driver on the sim. I was in that race. I was driving the heck out of my race car, I felt like, and he was just driving away from me. So yeah, a very talented driver here in the iRacing.
Yeah, and right here, if you look at the center part of your screen right there, the 7 machine, the second place driver, Cy Bowen, might be having a little bit of connection issues. If we see him blinking in and out right there, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that throughout the race. And sometimes, Colton, if it gets too bad, they start to lose laps as their car does not get registered in the iRacing.com simulator. So we'll have to keep an eye on Cy Bowen and make sure he doesn't get skipped a lap or two. That would not be very good for the success level of his race. But right now, Zach is still just taking laps away.
That's the key to the race. Another thing that if this green flag run keeps on going, Zach Nichols will eventually encounter some lap traffic. And lap traffic at Nashville is probably the worst lap traffic you can ever come across because Nashville is already hard to pass. But when you just have a slower car in front of you that will not yield to you, it can be very costly as far as time goes. So we will have to see if this green flag run extends long enough to the point where Nichols will catch, I believe it's the number 60 of Steve Wright will be the first car that he catches. Be interesting to see how Nichols will get by the lap cars.
Yeah, and as you saw right there on your screen, we looked at the field going into turns 1 and 2, and Nichols kind of starting to really close that gap to the cars in front of him. As Nichols exits turn number 4 right here, we look at turn number 1, and those guys are starting to go into the corners. So without a doubt, Nichols is going to have some lap traffic here towards the end of this run. But Colton, another thing I want to mention here in the online All-American 400, in the real-life All-American 400, sanctioning bodies running that race, they have a few rules that we do not here on iRacing. So one of those is competition yellows. In real life, the flagman will throw a yellow flag every 75 laps of green flag action. But here on the iRacing.com simulator, there will be no competition cautions. So a lot of strategy could be played out in the event of a long green flag run. Do you take 2 tires? Do you take 4 tires? Do you take any tires and try and play track position game? It's all going to be a mystery that we might be able to watch unfold here as we get into the later stages of this race. But right now, Zach Nichols still up front. Cy Bowen second, Nathan Coaster third, Mark Keatman fourth, and quite a ways back to Brandon Wilkinson in the 5th spot. And if you look behind him, Shane Williamson, 153 right there. He's under fire from Benny Hogan for the 7th spot. We saw Williamson get up on the top side of Zach Nichols, and he's just kind of went back from there. He was doing fine when he was out front leading laps, but this first little run in dirty air might be playing a big problem for the number 153 of Shane Williamson.
I saw him. He was he was dragging the wall almost into turns 1 and 2. He was way up top and lost the position to Wilkinson and Collins. Obviously something not handling up to his liking in that 153 machine is it will battle that thing and try to make it more towards his liking, but it's still very early here. You just don't want to tear up your race car, and yeah, that could be very bad. That'd just be a bunch of practice time wasted. So you just want to click off laps here early.
As he kind of holds his own right there in the 7th spot, but Benny Hogan every couple laps takes a look to the inside, and Williamson able to shut the door. As the tires start to get more heat and wear off a little bit more, we're gonna have to see how well Shane Williamson is able to manage that race car, as we got a battle heating up for the 3rd spot between Nathan Coaster and Mark Keatman.
Bowen still having some internet difficulties there. I don't think those are going to get much better, which that could be troubling for Nathan Coaster, because when you try to pass someone and they're blinking on and off your screen, you don't really know where they are, so contact could be imminent. But we'll see how that develops as the race goes on.
Yeah, right here, Coaster gets through the center really well. You see he's able to drive into the corner, but Keatman just kind of has him on the exit of the corner, which Colton, you know as well as I do, getting a better exit here at Fairgrounds is very, very beneficial, as long straightaways with somewhat tight corners. If you're able to get down the straightaway quicker than the guy in front of you, you can peek that nose in to the inside and complete the pass. But 4 cars right here under a blanket for the top spot. Got a little bit of a gap back to Brandon Wilkinson in the 5th position. And then another big gap to Dalton Collins and Shane Williamson is right here. Greg Evans to the inside. Trouble on the speedway. We have a caution. Alex Sexton slow at the top of the racetrack in the number 9 machine. We'll take a look at what happened, as that puts us under caution for the 2nd time here tonight. So right here we see him battling with Ethan Wolf in the 112 machine for the 11th spot, as Sexton just gets up the racetrack and into the outside wall. Looks like he's able to avoid a major impact, but he grabs a piece of that inside wall down below. And Colton, now it's the same thing we saw last night from the number 9. How is he going to have to recover and get that race car in a line to complete the rest of these 350 laps here at the Fairgrounds?
It didn't look like too hard of a whack. I doubt the steering's been knocked out of place, but that'll just hurt his confidence even more. He did that last night while leading the heat race and almost caused a big crash with him and Zach Nichols into turns 3 and 4. Now we see it happen down the front straightaway, so obviously Sexton struggling to get the car off of the corners in the way that he wants to, as we see some cars now heading down pit road. Pit strategy already coming into play just past lap 50.
Yeah, a couple cars headed down to the pits, but none of those being the leaders. None of those really being the lead lap, or sorry, the cars up in the front of the pack. And actually, as I say that, it was a couple of the guys in the front of the pack. Shane Williamson looks to have gone down pit road. Cy Bowen, Brandon Wilkinson, Dalton Collins, all people that went down and got some potentially fresh tires. So we'll keep track of what exactly those guys got, but up front it is still Zach Nichols. Nathan Coaster is going to inherit the second spot right here. Mark Keeman coming up into the third position. So Mark Keeman going to be lining up in the third spot on this restart. Might be the money spot for him, as we saw him starting to pick up the pace behind the 53 of Nathan Coaster. So Colton, we might be able to see Mark Keeman nab a position and potentially the lead on this restart.
Like I said, Keatman's an aggressive driver. If he's something, he's gonna go for it. It doesn't matter how early it is, as long as he's also a clean driver, so he knows that he can put his car where he wants and trust his racing abilities. Like he'll make it stick and he'll make the move work. As I imagine him and Nathan Coaster will be side by side through the middle of turns 1 and 2, battling it out for that second position when we go back green.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to see a lot of battles right here, and especially with those guys that just took tires in the back. 50 laps on those older tires, they're going to have 50 lap fresher tires than the guys in the back, so they're going to have to keep an eye on Shane Williamson, Cy Bowen, Brandon Wilkinson, and Dalton Collins, all those guys getting fresh rubbers underneath these super late models, so we'll keep an eye on that as we go back green. But the pace car goes off to the speedway. It's in the hands of Zach Nichols and Nathan Coaster off of turn number 4. They get to the start line right there. Nichols kind of slowing it down a little bit, maybe playing a little bit of a restart game. And as they head into turns 1 and 2, Nichols going to have 2 car lengths on the front bumper of Nathan Coaster's 53, and he's going to have to fend off the 54 of Mark Keeman for the second spot.
Coaster will defend as we got a wreck in the middle of turns 3 and 4, as we see an ARCA brake maneuver at the back there. Unfortunate for whoever just got the old ARCA brake.
Yeah, we saw, I believe, the number 5 of Benny Hogan go for a slide. We'll take a look at what exactly happened right there. Yeah, it looks like just a 1-car spin, but a couple guys also collected later in that accident. But right here, out of turn number 2, you see the number 5 of Benny Hogan right behind the 54 of Mark Keeman. And behind him, the 2 of Greg Evans. And Evans just gets in a little bit too hot and grabs the left rear quarter of the number 5, and everybody just hard on the binders to try and avoid. You see Dalton Collins with some damage right there in the 95. Cy Bowen up on the top as well, maybe collecting a little bit of damage, but that'll put us under yellow for the 3rd time here tonight. On your screen right now, Dalton Collins in the 95 machine. He's going to have to go down and get some repairs fixed, and he's going to get back out in time to stay on the lead lap. But right now, not where the number 95 machine wanted to be here early on. Just 60 laps into this one, he's already got some damage on the nose of that race car. Colton, these guys knew that was a risk that they took when they went down pit road. They'd be in the back of the pack with some of the guys they haven't yet raced with in this event. So how does that change the way that these guys plan out the rest of the race? How do they adapt to maybe the poor racing conditions in the back of the pack?
I think it's, you have your plan set, you got to stay with it. And if it's in the cards for you to wreck, then that's just how it's going to be. You can't reverse what the racing gods will do, but you got to stick to your plan and just hope that the racing in the back will be a little bit better when you fall back there. Your pit strategy, I feel as though, has already been set, so gotta stick to it, and Just hope that everything will be all right.
And right here, they head into turns 3 and 4. We thought we were going to go green this time, but unfortunately the light's back on in the iRacing.com pace car. Race control not quite ready to send them back. Green flag racing. So right here, your top 5, Nathan Coaster, Zach Nichols, and somebody that we haven't quite talked about so far to the outside of Mark Keeman right there, the 02 machine, the North Liberty, Indiana driver, Jimmy Gowker. He's kind of snuck up into the top 5. We're going to have to see on this restart if he's going to have any kind of speed to hang with these guys up front.
Should be very interesting, as I'll let Winston bring us to the green flag.
Yeah, right here, the pace truck falling onto pit road, and it's once again in the hands of Zach Nichols and Nathan Coaster. Nichols on the bottom side of the racetrack. He goes nice and early. Coaster going right with him. 2 cars into turns 1 and 2. Almost side by side. Coaster going to give way and let Nichols have that spot for now. And as they head down the back straightaway, they're going to come flying at you. Everybody able to make it down the backstretch clean and green and out of turn number 4. Leader on lap 64, Zach Nichols in the 44 machine. Sorry, that's lap 63. My timing goes a little bit off there. But nonetheless, Nichols, your leader, and he will end up leading lap 64. So I was just predicting the lap after that. So Nichols, your leader, Coaster second, and Mark Keeman into the 3rd position. But once again, Jimmy Gowker kind of hanging with these guys. Something that we might not have expected there on that coming to the green. He's right there with Mark Keeman, just a couple car lengths back as Keeman works the back bumper of Nathan Coaster for the 2nd spot.
Keeman looks a little faster than the 53 machine right now, maybe different levels of tire saving. Nathan Coaster could be wanting to save those tires a little bit more for the later stages of the run with these tires on underneath the car. But Keeman feels as though he can push on a little bit better, but now looks like the gap's going to extend there a little bit. But Keeman, he just seems to get that better drive off. That's crucial here at Nashville. I got long straights, and you want that good drive off. Otherwise, you're going to be a sit and duck down the straightaway.
Yeah, and Colton right here, you see as they head down the back straightaway, they'll fly by it right here. Everybody, but you see up in the front of the pack, there's about a 13-car breakaway, and then back into the 13th spot, it's Britt Van Meter right here, and then the Storm behind him. Everybody side by side trying to move forward. You see the 111 of Craig Weigel in there, Kenneth Farmer as well. It's Farmer and Holstein side by side for the 17th spot, but these guys quite a ways back from your leaders, and we'll check in on where the guys that just pit were. Right here, Shane Williamson in the 9th spot. Wilkinson right there as well, so they are moving up nicely. But Collins, who had damage after that last incident, he sits back in position number 24, and Alex Sexton with some damage on his race car, currently sitting in, I believe, the 25th spot. So move back to the front of the pack to fix our timing and scoring a little bit here as Nichols starts to increase the lead to the back, or to the front bumper of the 53.
I'm not sure what had happened, but looks like the number 7 machine of Cy Bowen was given a black flag for something previously. He has now scored 2 laps down in the 33rd position. But like I said, I think one of your biggest movers will be the number 1 machine of Matt Kemp. He is up to the 10th position from the 33rd starting position here on lap 72, using up those tires early, as I thought he would, to get up to the cars of his driving level. An impressive drive from the 1 machine thus far.
Yeah, and right here he's battling with the 56 machine of Brandon Wilkinson. Brandon, no stranger to success here at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. We saw him pick up the win in the street stocks earlier on this week. As he goes to the inside, he'll take the 10th spot right back from Matt Kemp. Move Matt Kemp back to 11th. He's up front with Nichols, your leader, just about half a second the gap back to Nathan Coaster in the 53, and we still hook in on Nathan Coaster and Mark Keeman. It seems like they've been nose to tail for a long time. This is going to be a great storyline to follow throughout the race. Will it be Coaster or Keatman? If you like that storyline, folks, you can tune in to the Mid-South iRacing Tour on Wednesday nights, because Nathan Coaster and Mark Keatman usually put on a great show when they're up front together. It looks like right now Nathan Coaster getting the better of Keatman as Keatman tags the wall down the front stretch.
Brandon Wilkinson makes Brandon Wilkinson makes up another spot on the 57 machine of Jake Brooks, and so does Matt Kemp. Brooks may be starting to struggle here with the tires. He might have used them up a little too early. Might be praying for a caution here in the latter part of this run, as there's 4 cars underneath the blanket. Position 5 to 8. Jimmy Gauker, Alan Young, Ethan Wolf, and Shane Williamson all right there and battling for that 5th position as Ethan Wolf slides very high into turn 2.
Yeah, you saw Wolf kind of shoot up the racetrack right there. A lot of respect going on from these guys up in the top 10 right here. Everybody kind of knowing when other people are wanting to go and moving up the racetrack and letting them buy. Track position, not the most important thing right now on lap number 79 of 400. That's right, 400 laps. So these guys just trying to kind of hang in there, but right now, 79 laps in, Zach Nichols, your leader. It's something that we thought we might not have to worry about, Colton. But as we get further into this race on this green flag run, I believe as you and I were talking to Nathan Coaster and Alex Sexton before this race, these cars do not have the max fuel in them right now, I do not believe. So as we work more and more into this run, these guys won't be able to make it past lap 125, 130-ish. So these guys are going to have to start watching their fuel and praying for a caution here as we get towards the later stages of this race. But right now, that is not an issue. Zach Nichols, your leader, out of turn number 4.
Shane Williamson in that 153 machine, he stopped on pit road on lap 52. He put tires on his car, so he'll be looking to make a charge through these cars here, as he's got 50 lap younger tires than these drivers ahead of him do, as he'll be closing into the back to the number 24 of Alan Young.
And right behind him, Brandon Wilkinson moving up another position, getting around the 112 of Ethan Wolf. So no doubt that Shane Williamson and Brandon Wilkinson, those two guys right there, have got their machines figured out as they start to make a charge through the field right here. And bringing the number 1 machine of Matt Kemp along with them, we see, I see on the left side of my screen right here, Matt Kemp has gone up 23 positions from his starting spot all the way back in 33rd. So if Matt Kemp is able to finish up here in the front of the pack, it's got to be a successful run for him. I know he's going to want to grab that checker at the end of the day.
Alan Young falling behind Brandon Wilkinson and Shane Williamson. They both stopped at that lap 52 mark. They have better tires than the cars ahead, so they'll be looking to use those tires right now to try and get through and hope that this run extends, because they will have better fuel numbers. Therefore, they could run longer, and hopefully these cars will have to pit as Jimmy Gauker lets the number 153 of Shane Williamson through in turns 1 and 2. And I imagine that Brandon Wilkinson will be following suit in the next coming laps.
Right here, we kind of let this number 61 machine sneak up into the top 5, but Lane Holzler right now, after coming from the 15th spot, he's avoided all of the trouble so far, made his way up into the 4th position. He rides a couple seconds behind your leader, Zach Nichols. But right now, he rides in the 4th position, still having yet to make a pit stop. And on your screen right now, Mark Keatman able to get around the number 53 of Nathan Coaster. You might see him trying to make a charge towards the front of the pack, but Coaster's still right there on in the back bumper of the 54.
Brandon Wilkinson did get around the 02 of Jimmy Gauker, as Matt Kemp will be trying to close into the back of that 24 machine of Alan Young. He's not done yet. I believe he's still going to be charging, although his tires might be much more used up, trying to get through the pack. He's still got the pace in him to try and hunt down cars in front. He'll be trying to advance his position past the 24 of Alan Young.
Yeah, and folks, on the left side of your screen right here, we'll take a look as they come around to the stripe. On the left side of your screen, the times being presented from the last time they made a lap. So see right there, Brandon Wilkinson and Shane Williamson both running faster lap times than your leader, Zach Nichols. And if you look further back, significantly faster than the fourth place Lane Holster and Nathan Coaster in the third spot. So I'm really looking to see Shane Williamson and Brandon Wilkinson make a charge towards the front of this field as this green flag run progresses. But up front, Zach Nichols is still clean and green, but he's got some lap traffic in front of him right here.
Yes, lap traffic again coming into play. Nichols got lucky last time with the yellow just before he had to get into lap traffic, but this time looks like he will have to deal with a little bit of lap traffic. More cars in front of him here. He will try to maneuver them the best he can as Jeffrey Eddy will let number 44 machine by. Steve Wright will be the next car to go down a lap from the flying 44 machine of Zach Nichols.
Yeah, and Colton, you know, right here is a hard strategy call to make. Do you push to get some of these cars a lap down? Do you just kind of ride and let them come back to you as they do? But if it was me personally, I would, knowing that I have to make a pit stop in a couple of laps, there's about 20 laps, I would make sure that I get a bunch of these guys a lap down, and as many of them as I can. That way I don't have to deal with them in case I do go a lap down on this pit stop. As you see right there, he gets around Kenneth Farmer and Steve Wright. So now he's going to work towards the back bumper of Mark Myers in the 0-4, and luckily for Nichols, he's going to have some clear track behind him, but Mark Keatman has entered his name into the lap traffic mixes. We got the top three kind of spread out here now. Keatman with a close call on the front straightaway, having to take evasive action to get around number 59 machine of Kenneth Farmer.
I can confirm that the internet issues that we saw Cy Bowen having continued to play him as he dropped out of the session. He eventually rejoined, but he is 12 laps down, unfortunate for the 7 machine.
Yeah, really just a tough turn of events. We saw Bowen qualify inside the top 10, and he was in the third spot for a while there, but just very unfortunate to get plagued by an issue that's basically out of your control. You've had it happen to you. I know I have had it happen to me a fair time in my days. It's just something that's so, it's like having a tire go down when you just don't expect it. Just nothing you can really do. You're just kind of praying that it holds on, but obviously not the case tonight for Cy Bowen, as he is scored in the 30th position right now as we reach lap 100. Zach Nichols is your leader here on the WD Broadcasting Network. So folks, we are back here on the WD Broadcasting Network, and Nichols still your leader, but right behind him, Mark Keatman Jr. in the 54 machine, starting to log a few laps that are potentially better than your leader in the 44. But as we work towards the lap number 120 mark, we gotta be wondering, Colton, when exactly the fuel light's gonna be knocking on the door of these drivers. As we get closer and closer and closer to that window, these front three that have not pit so far might be in a heap of trouble.
Yeah, especially if they pit and then a yellow comes out, they'll be laps down, and that could just spell disaster for them. As while we were away, Shane Wilkinson and and Brandon Wilkinson got around these 61 of Lane Hostler. Those 50-lap fresher tires still playing a big advantage through the 153 and 56 machine. But Mark Keatman is putting in some impressive lap times, closing the gap every single lap, nearly a tenth faster than Zach Nichols on the last lap. Keatman looks like he's going for late, and he does, as it looks like Zach Nichols coming in for a pit stop.
Yeah, green flag pit stops right here, and I'm actually curious to see what strategy Nichols is going to play right here, because obviously he's going to lose the lead and potentially go a lap down to whoever inherits the lead. As Keatman also, I believe, coming down pit road in a couple laps. Keatman and Coaster not making a pit stop so far, as Ethan Wolf and Jimmy Gowker join the 44 of Zach Nichols on pit road. So we got to believe that Mark Keatman's got to be the next one, and he does. Here he comes down pit road. Nathan Coaster going to try and stretch this out as long as he can. As Coaster out of turn number 4, he inherits the lead, and the caution flag flies. Wow, I don't think Nate could have predicted that one better, but the caution flag flies. We'll take a look at what exactly for. I believe the 111 machine of Craig Weigel was the cause of the caution. We'll take a look at what happened here, but just a crazy turn of events as the caution flag flies. As here's the incident with the number 111 of Weigel. As he was going through the center of turns 3 and 4 right there in the 52 machine, grabbing his left rear. The 52 is Jeff Dillon. So that brings us under caution for the 4th time here tonight. If you want to talk about good luck, Colton, you got to talk about the number 53 of Nathan Coaster. He could not have gotten that better. He was running on fumes down the back straightaway as he makes his way onto pit road right here. I believe he's going to have everybody joining him. Colton, I don't think he's going to get much luckier throughout the rest of the race.
No, that was a very, very lucky turn of events there for the 53. It put some cars on lap down. That including the 44 of Zach Nichols. He pitted just at the wrong time. He's currently being scored 2 laps down. Unfortunate for the 44. He'll be looking to battle back. But it's very hard to gain back laps here. For 112 of Ethan Wolf, he's scored 1 lap down. Jimmy Gowker's 1 lap down. Unfortunate for some of these drivers who just pitted a couple laps too early. And, yeah, it didn't play out too well for him.
Yeah, Colton is obviously right here. The 53 machine of Nathan Coaster going to inherit the lead. But those guys that just came down in pit, my curious thought right here is, did they take tires when they were on pit road? As you see Jimmy Gowker in the 02 heading back down for some more service on the P1 Performance Chevrolet. But a lot of strategy being played here as you saw those guys try to stretch it out as much as they could. And luckily for Nathan Coaster, he was going to have to pit that lap, and the caution flag came out. Similar to what we saw happen to Mark Keatman in the Mid-South iRacing Tour finale, he was going to have to pit that exact lap, and the caution flag flew. So both of those guys getting saved, and both of those guys getting hurt with that same exact situation. So it's really a crazy way that it turns out here at Nashville Fairgrounds, but here we are on lap 118, and it seems like we're just getting it started here with our 400-lap event, Colton.
Yeah, still early here. It sounds ridiculous to say that as we're 118 laps in. Most of the time you'd be saying, well, this race is almost over, but not this one. It's 400 laps. Still long ways to go. I was watching the 44 stop of Zach Nichols. It did not look like he took tires But I do believe he did come down to the pit road under this yellow to get tires. So we have a very heavy hitter, 2 laps down, but on 4 fresh tires. He'll be looking for some vengeance. It'll be interesting to see how he progresses back up through the field after a unfortunate hitting time for the 4-4 machine.
Yeah, and is up front right here. A couple cars actually staying out on that last caution. The number 121 of Cody Jordan and the 73 of Jonathan Holstein actually staying out during this caution period, but Shane Williamson going to inherit the lead. He pit on lap number 115 along with a bunch of others, so out of turn number 4, it's in the hands of Williamson. He is back up front and racing down into turns 1 and 2. The number 121 of Cody Jordan going to be following him into the corner. Is everybody down the backstretch? We got one into the inside wall. Zach Hoyer in the 13 machine. He tags the inside wall as he is rolling away now, but we saw him get a little bit slideways out of turn number 2 right there. And he's got some significant damage on the left side as well as the front end of that race car. We'll take a look at what exactly happened to the number 13 of Zach Hoyer. So right here out of turn number 2, it looks like Hoyer just getting a little bit loose over the bumps. As I mentioned earlier, the car really sensitive over the bumps out of 2, so he gets into the bumps and just tries to lock it down the best he could and ends up grabbing the inside wall. So Hoyer right now scored all the way back in the 18th position. Not exactly where you want to be, but we're still early on here in the 25th annual online All-American 400 presented by Brooks Motorsports. But up front, Williamson, your leader in the 153, and right behind him, the 53 of Nathan Coaster, who caught maybe the luckiest break that we've seen ever on the WD Broadcasting Network. And right there in the 3rd spot, all the way from the 33rd position, Matt Kemp enters the top 3. And he also made a pit stop on lap number 115, so he's right along with the pit strategy of these leaders. He's got the track position to go with it, so will we see Matt Kemp make some late race charges and put his name into the mix for the battle for this win? And sorry about that, folks. We were back. I had to fix something with the cameras right there. As Williamson, your leader, Coaster in the 2nd spot, and Kemp all the way up to 3rd. Dalton Collins in the 5th spot right now. He's got that front end damage. How is that going to affect him throughout the remainder of this race?
It could slow him down in a straight line and affect that car majorly in dirty air. That's why these cars are so streamlined to try and make sure that they can get through the dirty air the best as possible. But that could also slow him down in a straight line, which could be detrimental here because it's very long straight and top speed's all the main game. But there's the iRacing.com pace truck. Pulls to the inside. It'll be in the hands of Shane Williams out of turn 4. And we are back racing here at Nashville. Williamson getting a good jump over there of the 53 and Nathan Coaster. Matt Kemp be looking to the inside of the 53. Coaster will pull clear down the back straightaway. top 5 will begin to single file out here. We have a battle for the 6th position between Britt Van Meter and Travis Wright. Van Meter will take that position. We have a yellow down the back straightaway.
Yeah, yellow flag, the 73 machine, Jonathan Holstein, spun around the wrong way on the bottom of the racetrack. We'll take a look at what exactly happened there. That puts us under yellow once again on lap 127. Is right here in front of your screen, the 73 to the inside of Craig Weigel in the 112, and looks like he just gets up the racetrack and checks up a lot on the exit of the corner right there. Nowhere for the 121 machine to go. Ethan Wolf also grabbing a little bit of damage as well. But up front, your leader, Shane Williamson, unaffected by the yellow. He's still out front. But yeah, Colton, right now, still fairly early in this event. 6 cautions so far in the 129 laps that we've seen. At what point in this race do you think you see guys starting to really back off and try not to damage their race cars any more than they maybe already have?
I would have figured that would have been the goal right off the start. You don't want to screw up your stuff in the first 350 laps, really. You want to have a perfect race car going into those last laps, last 50 laps ideally, where you can just drive it harder than you ever have in the whole race. And when you destroy your stuff early here, it's hard too, because you already have a disadvantage as far as maybe a straight line defect from front end damage or something along those lines that would just not allow the car to be the same. Those all are going to play bad factors into the damaged cars already here. The online All-American 400.
Yeah, damage not going to help you win the race, and especially not get a good finish as pace car making its way down into turns 1 and 2. 131 laps going to be complete as they make their way out of turn number 4, but as we work lap 131, Shane Williamson back up front, but Colton, last time we saw the 53 in the top spot, we saw Zach Nichols get to the inside, and back he went. So how does Shane Williamson try to prevent that from happening again and falling back to the 7th spot?
He's just got to be a lot more consistent. When you're consistent, it's hard for cars to get around you because you're running the ideal line and the best passing line. So I think if you're consistent enough, that it'd be very, very hard for cars to overtake you as the lights are out on the iRacing.com pace truck.
Yeah, the light's going off, and I was just thinking about this, Colton. So far this race, we've seen a lot of the same names in that top 5. You know, Nathan Coaster, Shane Williamson, Brandon Wilkinson, but a couple of these guys new to the top 5. Matt Kemp in the number 1. We're going to have to see how exactly he tries to race going forward, but lap 132, the pace car drops to the bottom side of the racetrack. It's going to be the 53 machines out of turn number 4 in the hands of Shane Williamson, and at the line he goes. Coaster going right with him, and we are green flag racing into turn number 1.
Williamson gets a good run through turns 1 and 2. He'll take the lead and pull away with it down the back straightaway. Coaster will be looking to try and get around him as early as possible. He'll look to close on the back bumper of the 153. This looks like the top 7 is mostly single file out. We have a big crash into turn 1. A couple cars spinning.
Yeah, I saw it pop up on my screen that Ethan Wolf was involved in an incident. We'll take a look at what exactly happened in turns 1 and 2, but that'll put us under caution once again. As we look at what exactly happened, it looks like the 111 machine of Craig Weigel making some contact with the 73 of Jonathan Holstein. So we'll take a look as they were headed down the front straightaway here. See the 111 of Weigel, the green triple-digit machine, he gets tagged in the back bumper, and then the 73 up the racetrack. Nowhere for those guys to go. Ethan Wolf also involved. Luckily, Weagle able to hang on to that race car, but nonetheless, some more cars with some front-end damage, and it's only lap 135, but that puts us under yellow once again here at the fairgrounds.
We have some heavy hitters who we saw right around the front. Now a lap down from those green flag pit stops and then just playing it a little unlucky. Number 9 of Alex Sexton, the 02 of Jimmy Gauker, the 5 of Benny Hogan, the 57 of Jake Brooks, 112 of Ethan Wolf, and most importantly, the 44 of Zach Nichols is 2 laps down in that 30th position. It'll be very hard for him to come back from this one. He'll have to dig really, really hard to try and get those laps back.
Yeah, and Colton, one thing about the way that the iRacing works, every single caution they get 1 wave around. So with the amount of cautions that we've been seeing right here, potentially Zach Nichols can get a wave around and move forward a few positions and potentially get back on the lead lap. But as we work lap 138, it's going to take a lot of cautions in order for Nichols to get back up on the lead lap and in contention. And then once he does that, he's still got another problem of trying to get back through the field up to the front spots. So it's going to be a long road ahead for the 44 machine of Zach Nichols, who we saw leading for a long time in the early stages of this race.
The beauty of strategy playing races, you play it wrong and that could ruin your whole entire night, but I know that the driver of that 44 car is very talented and very skilled, so I believe he'll probably find his way back up to the front. It'll just take him a lot of time to get there.
Yeah, as the lights go off on the iRacing.com pace truck. And we are going to be headed green next time by, as once again, it'll be the pair of 53s bringing us to the green out of turn number 4. We've had 7 cautions so far here in this event, a couple different leaders. But nonetheless, out of turn number 4, the pace car drops to the bottom side of the racetrack. It's in the hands of Shane Williamson, Nathan Coaster, Matt Kemp, and Brandon Wilkinson, and we are back racing into turn number 1 at Nashville Fairgrounds.
Coaster will roll the outside of the 53 of Shane Williamson and pick up the lead down the back straightaway. What a move there from the 53 machine as he shows a bit of his muscle right there. Williamson will look back down to the inside of the 53 of Coaster, trying to fight for that top position. As Wilkinson will pull up to his door down the back straightaway. Wilkinson will bury it into the corner. So does Coaster, though. They are dead even through the center. Williamson will get the good drive off. Back down in turns 1 and 2. Very, very good racing here. A lot of respect is being given as Williamson pulls a little bit ahead down the back straightaway and in turn 3, but Coaster drives it in deep, trying to hang on to the lead. They're almost at a dead heave at the line once again. Very, very good racing going on here. Coaster back to the outside, down the back straightaway, trying everything he has to get around the 153 of Shane Williamson. Williamson putting up a very, very good fight down on the bottom.
Yeah, we saw Coaster get a little bit loose that time off of turn number 4. He kind of seemed unaffected by it, so he still holds his own up on the top side of the racetrack, but you got to wonder, as these two put more and more laps on their tires side by side and get more heat built up in them, that just kind of opens the door a little bit for Brandon Wilkinson in the 3rd spot. Coaster up on top right now, trying to make something happen, just riding around the outside. It looks like Williamson able to clear the 53 of Coaster, but on that restart, we saw Coaster get a big run out of turn number 2, and everybody probably, if I was a racer right there and I saw that, I got to put that in my memory bank and note that the 53 of Coaster was able to get that run off of turn number 2. He wasn't able to complete the pass yet, but he definitely was a threat for the lead right there. So Coaster falling back into the second spot, and he kind of falls into the clutches of the 56 of Brandon Wilkinson.
Very, very good driving and impressive driving from the top two. Much respect given between the two drivers. Never made contact, but stayed side by side for a solid 5 laps as the yellow flag flies once again.
After this incident, we'll take a look at what happened down into turns 1 and 2. We see him going into the corner and just gets in way too hot. Has to get on the binders and unfortunately tags the 04 machine of Mark Myers. So I believe that's going to do it tonight for the 73 of Jonathan Holstein. He has left the session, unfortunately. Unfortunate end to Holstein's day. We saw him up towards the front of the field in the top 10. But, Colton, sometimes that happens, and sometimes you're just a victim of your own circumstances, and that's what happened to Holstein here tonight.
Patience, 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 and it's about this time where these drivers could be losing a bit of patience with the other drivers around. But crucially, one of our heavy hitters, Alex Sexton, getting his lap back here under this yellow flag with a wave around feature and iRacing.
Yeah, we see Sexton
now back on the lead lap.
Yeah, we saw Sexton in that early incident grab some of the outside wall, and it looks like he's kept his car relatively clean since then. And with just under 300 laps to go, we gotta wonder how much more that P1 Performance number 9 machine can take before some things start to go amiss, as we've seen him involved in that first little piece of contact with the outside wall, and he's also been involved in a few accidents where they just checked up and he had nowhere to go. So we're going to have to keep an eye on the number 9 machine of Alex Sexton as he gets his lap back right there, as you said. Mark Keatman right behind him also on the lead lap, and that puts the first car 1 lap down is the 57 machine of Jake Brooks. So a lot of cars a lap down here. We have 19 on the lead lap and quite a few rolling around a couple laps down, including a guy who led the majority of this early half of the race, Zach Nichols in the 44, currently scored in the 28th position.
I've seen Nichols on pit road, I think every single caution. Doesn't seem too happy with the handling on that 44 machine. He's searching for more speed wherever it is. Something clearly not right on the 44 machine, as he's been in the pits for the majority of the cautions after he fell laps down.
Yeah, Nichols obviously not a fan of what happened. I mean, I would be pretty frustrated if I pit and then a lap later the caution came out, but unfortunately that's just the game that they tried to play with the fuel strategy. We saw it work out for some, like Nathan Coaster, but unfortunately for others, Jimmy Gowker, number 61 of Lane Holsler, he had to pit as well. But there's still a lot of time left in this race. 250 laps is a long time, especially here at the fairgrounds, Colton, and a lot can happen. So as the pace car heads into turns 3 and 4, I'll let you take us away as we go back to green on lap 153.
Yeah, iRacing.com pace truck pulls it into the pit lane, leaving it in the hands of Williams and Coaster. Williams goes earlier this time and has a nice advantage over the 53 of Coaster, not allowing Coaster to the outside, and maybe a duplicate of what happened last run. We have a battle for the third position between Brandon Wilkinson and the number 1 car, Matt Kemp. Matt Kemp obviously started 33rd. He's now up to 4th. He'll fall in behind the 56 of Brandon Wilkinson as the field begins to single file out here once again.
Yeah, and one thing that I've noticed so far during this race, we've seen the couple cars battling for positions, but I've noticed that it tends to tame out just a couple laps out of the run. As right here you see the number 2 machine of Greg Evans take a peek to the inside of Lane Holsler, but nothing's going to come from it right now, as 155 laps in the books as Shane Williamson heads through turns 3 and 4. Right now, Brandon Wilkinson, that 3rd position, I've kept my eye on him these last couple restarts. He hasn't fired off as good as the 2 cars ahead of him, but once he gets like 2 or 3 laps under those tires, he really starts to pick up the pace as you see him work towards the back bumper of Nathan Coaster in the 53.
Down towards the back of the field, the number 5 car, Benny Hogan, another one of our heavy hitters, is currently in position for that wave around. If a yellow were to come out, we go to a Jimmy Gowker next in line. He'll be trying to hunt down that 5 machine and try to get around him, because they all want to be back on the lead lap here at Nashville. It will be another race, get back on the lead lap down towards the back of the field.
Yeah, as up front, still Brandon Wilkinson just right on the back bumper of the 53 of Nathan Coaster. We saw a similar thing happen with the 54 of Mark Keatman. As Keatman rode on that back bumper of the 53 and finally dove it to the inside, was able to take the spot away, but Wilkinson being very patient in the 56 so far. So we are only on lap 160 out of turn number 4, and we'll take a look where exactly the number 54 of Mark Keevan is. We just mentioned he is all the way back in position number 19, trying to get around Alex Sexton for the 18th spot. Both those guys have some pretty heavy damage on the front end of those race cars that might affect them going forward throughout the rest of this race. So right behind them, Ethan Wolf currently scored 2 laps down in the number 112 machine. He's got a lot of front end damage as well. So with only 160 laps in this one in the books out of 400, gotta wonder when those guys are going to go down pit road, bite the bullet, and take some of the damage that they can get. Colton, I'll let you do a good job of explaining how exactly damage works in iRacing and what exactly they can do to fix that as they go down pit road. So I'll let you take that away.
When they go down pit road, they will stop in the box, and the pit crew will service the car first. So they'll do either fuel or tires, whichever one that you have it set to manually, what we call it the black box in iRacing. They will do that first, but then afterwards, if you stay sitting in your pit box, you have this thing called optional repairs. If you sit there, the crew will begin fixing your race car after service has been completed, and it is a certain amount of time that the crew will need to fix the car up the best that they can. Once you have a damaged race car, it'll never be as good as a new race car. So the crew will do their best and get it back to the best way that they can, but it will not be perfect. But that's why just getting no damage is very, very important. But getting those optional repairs is just as important, because if you have no optional repairs, your car will be at the best of what it could be, even though there is a damage limiting factor.
I feel like that's a good way of putting it, Colton. Well done. I'd like to thank you for explaining that, because that's a lot more than I could have done right there. But on your screen right now, the 44 machine of Zach Nichols. Usually when these guys go a couple laps down, we see that because of damage, they have to go down and get damage repaired. But in this unique circumstance, Zach Nichols has a perfectly good race car, Colton, and he's just trying to get back on the lead lap, and he's got to be patient while doing so. You don't want to damage your car and hurt yourself even more than you already are right now. So Nichols working behind Jimmy Gowker right now. Once again, scored in the 26th position. So as the laps wind down, we're going to have to see Nichols start moving forward if he wants any shot at the victory in the All-American 400.
Yeah, there could be a developing battle for the 3rd position between Brandon Wilkinson and Matt Kemp. Been watching that gap for the past couple laps, and it's been slowly coming down between Kemp and Wilkinson. Kemp will be looking to try and get around the number 56 of Wilkinson and try to hunt down the 53 of Nathan Coaster.
Yeah, on board with Matt Kemp right here, and just to give you a perspective of how these guys are driving these race cars, you see Kemp kind of slide out through the center of the corner and get that run down the straightaway, and he closes that gap ever so slightly to the 56 of Brandon Wilkinson. You see him right here on the back bumper. We are working closer and closer to the halfway stage of this race. I'm going to lap 172 this time around. So far, Williamson, your leader, Coaster in the 2nd spot. Wilkinson in 3rd, and Kemp right here in the 4th position, trying to maybe get around Brandon Wilkinson before we see a yellow flag. But these guys up front, the top 10 cars have all pit in that last caution flag, the top 5 of those pitting on lap 115. But last time around, we saw those guys make it to about lap 110 before they started pitting. So magic number for a fuel run is about 110, 115 laps. And as I say that, the caution flag flies. The 77 machine of Ryan Strunk with a lot more front end damage than the last time we checked in on him. We'll take a look at what happened. So right here you see him battling for the 15th position with the number 121 of Cody Jordan. Looks like getting through the center of the corner. The 77 machine of Ryan Strunk just gets into the back bumper of Jordan, and around they went out of turn number 2. So that'll put us under caution once again, and to give these guys an opportunity to play some strategy games. And as I say that, everybody flooding the pits here. Everybody coming down pit road, just trying to get a piece of that action. As the first of those is Shane Williamson, your leader. A couple cars staying out. But I believe everybody comes off about the same that they went in. Williamson, Coaster, Wilkinson, also out of the pits. And it'll be Kemp. But oh, will it be? I think Collins might have leapfrogged Kemp right there and got the spot. So a couple guys making up some positions on pit road right there.
Crucially, under this yellow, we get another heavy hitter in this race back onto the lead lap. The number 5 car of Benny Hogan back onto the lead lap. We saw him running up front, up towards the front early on before I believe he got into the green flag pit stop mess that happened. So Benny Hogan will be back on the lead lap and battling through the field.
Yeah, we see Hogan on pit road right here. And one of the things about being the lucky dog on iRacing, it gives you an opportunity to get your lap back and then also come down pit road. Because if those of you that are unfamiliar with iRacing, when you get the lucky dog, you start at the tail end of the longest line. So really coming down pit road right there doesn't affect his track position necessarily compared to the other ones that are on the lead lap. He was already going to be at the back anyways, so he might as well come back down pit road and grab some fuel and tires. But up front, the 153 of Shane Williamson is currently scored in the 4th position, but he's got 3 cars in front of him that we've not yet seen in the front of the field this race. So this definitely will be an interesting restart, as we will be sending him back to green with just over 200 laps to go, coming up to the halfway point in just a little bit. This Colton, 3 cars up here that the front guys have not been used to racing. How is this going to affect the rest of the race? It could potentially affect some of the leaders' chances going forward.
All these cars will be on lighter fuel, and if the pitting cars took tires, they'll be on much older tires, therefore much slower, which could bottleneck the field and maybe cause a big wreck because of just the speed that they have on those tires. But the iRacing.com pace truck pulls down to the inside in the hands of Travis Wright and Alan Young. Travis Wright gets going off of turn 4, gets a good jump on Alan Young, and he'll lead into turn 1, beating his first laps here in the online All-American 400 as Coaster and we have a wreck into turn 3. Big wreck.
Yeah, big time problems. We saw a couple of cars that are heavy hitters in this one involved, and there is a parking lot in turns 3 and 4. And Colton, we were just talking about it, the change in speed right there might just be enough to cause a little bit of an incident here. We'll take one look at it from our camera on the front straightaway. You see the 52 machine right there come up the racetrack and just get into the 53 of Shane Williamson. And up the track he went. Wilkinson involved. He had some contact. The number 9 of Alex Sexton. Jimmy Gauker as well. Those guys having a lot of contact. Jake Brooks coming in late in the 57 machine. Also making contact, as we'll take another look from our friends up in the Goodyear blimp and see what exactly happened to cause a massive pileup on lap 179. They were coming off of turn number 2. The 152 machine, sorry, the 52 machine, Jeff Dillon just gets up the racetrack a little bit, and the 53 was right there, nowhere for anybody to go. Everybody sliding in. You see the 57 of Jake Brooks coming in a little bit late, grabbing Ethan Wolf's right rear bumper. A parking lot developing in turns 3 and 4. And Colton, a couple of things to note. We saw a lot of heavy hitters in this race involved in that incident, and that's going to be good for a few people, especially those who were already towards the back of the pack, but that's going to be good for those guys that are a couple laps down to not lose as much track position as they usually would. So right now, your leader, the number 10 machine, is still Travis Wright, Alan Young in the second spot, but right there, Nathan Koester able to avoid that entire mess. He's in the third spot. Shane Williamson falls back to 11th after that contact, but a couple of guys collected. Brandon Wilkinson, we saw him get to the inside of the racetrack. Jimmy Gauker, Mark Keatman as well. Alex Sexton. Looks like Alex stayed on the racetrack, Colton. We saw him have some damage earlier. How is that other damage going to affect him going forward throughout the rest of the race?
He got bonsaied from the rear by the number 41 of Tim Knott. Rear damage doesn't really affect you a lot in these super late models, but he did hit the wall with his right front once again, furthering the damage of that right front. It's already been torn in from his earlier contact in the wall off turn 4, but Tim Knott, I think he has the worst damage from that wreck because his entire half of his left front tire, if you view it from his rear chase, is sticking out of the race car. Some major damage to the front of the 41 machine.
Yeah, he was one of the guys that got in there with just nowhere to go into turns 3 and 4. So the field doubling up behind the AirRacing.com pace car. The lights going off. We're going to be sending them back to green once again on lap 185. Travis Wright, Alan Young, your front row. Then it's Nathan Koester, Dalton Collins, Matt Kemp, and Greg Evans behind him. So as we approach the halfway mark, we get set and ready to go on another restart. The pace car drops to the bottom side of the racetrack into the pits. And out of turn number 4, it's Travis Wright and Alan Young. Wright going nice and early down the front straightaway and into turns 1 and 2. Watch the field as they head in there. Kind of already starting to single file out, but here comes Nathan Koester making a challenge for the second spot. He goes to the inside of Young in the 24. He gets the spot as Matt Kemp, the number 1 machine, tries to come with him. As, we got a car up into the outside wall. And a lot of machines slow out of turn number 4. We saw the 13 of Zach Coyer get up the racetrack and into the outside wall. Don't know exactly what sparked that. But a big stack up on the exit of turn number 4 there for those guys as Brandon Wilkinson goes to the inside, tries to take advantage of Coyer getting up the racetrack.
Back at the front, Matt Kemp gets around the 24 of Alan Young as we have yet another yellow. It looks like a mini parking lot on the front straightaway. I see the 11 machine. I think that's the 14, maybe the 04 machine of Mark Myers, and the 11 of Bill Harkins having some issues. Looks like on the exit of turns 3 and 4.
Yeah,
I will be stepping away for just a minute here, but Winston will take you through yellow.
Yeah, it's right here. We'll take a look at what exactly happened. You see 04 of Myers going into the corner. He's battling with the number 11 to his outside right there as he came off of the corner. The 11 just gets a little bit, maybe contact with the 112 of Ethan Wolf right there. Couldn't really tell, but the way that the 11 went around, it looked like there might have been a little bit of contact right there as Harkins in the 11 went around. We didn't see Wolf right there on the screen, and when he kind of popped up, he looked like he might have grabbed a little bit of contact with the number 11 machine. So a few things to keep you guys posted on. Unfortunately, due to a lot of contact and some pretty severe damage on the 54 machine, Mark Keatman Jr. in the 54 has called it a night. Very unfortunate, but sometimes that's just how the cards unfold. We saw him have a really good race, collect a victory a couple weeks ago on the WD Broadcasting Network at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, but unfortunately just not the case here tonight. So he calls it a night. So he's had some early on speed, but right now scored in the 31st position and out of the session. It's going to be, that will be the end of the night for Mark Keatman. So up front, Travis Wright, Nathan Coaster, still your top two. Right here, definitely the hard charger in this race. Matt Kemp starting from the 33rd position. He's up in a position number 3. I'll let Colton Code tell you about him from here.
Matt Kemp, very good sim racing driver. As you see, Nashville is a very, very hard place to pass. Never. He's very fast, and Nashville's a hard track to overtake at, and he has found his way from the 33rd position to the 3rd position. He's not seen that first position quite yet, but he'll be looking to get there as soon as possible as the lights are out on the iRacing.com pace truck. Into turn 3, the iRacing.com pace truck will pull to the inside, back into the pit lane, putting it in the hands of Travis Young and Nathan Coaster. Travis Wright, excuse me. And out of 4, we are green again here at Nashville. Into turn 1, Travis Wright take the lead over Nathan Coaster. Nathan Coaster will be looking back down to the inside in turns 3 and 4. Coaster pulls even with him through the corner, and Coaster out of turn 3 and 4 will take over the lead as we have another yellow flag here at Nashville. Drivers are struggling to keep it clean there at the back, but I do believe that Nathan Coaster may have taken the lead there. I think he was in the lead in the nick of time before that yellow had come out.
Yeah, Colton is. Looks like Jimmy Gowker in the 02 machine involved, and we'll take a look at what exactly happened. Looks like it was the 111 of Craig Weigel and the 52 of Jeff Dillon. So we'll take a look at what happened and put us under yellow once again. Right here, heading down the back straightaway, you see the 111 of Weigel and the 52 of Dillon right there. Is just the slightest bit of contact sends them both up the racetrack, and a couple cars coming in there way harder than. Oh, and Dillon almost goes upside down right there. We're going to have to go for another look at that and show you guys exactly what happened, but Dillon just about went upside down when he turned that machine around. Wow, a great shot right here from our first TV camera. You see the 52 of Dillon getting the turn back around, and oh, just about goes up and over, gets up on 2 wheels right there. And luckily, he's able to hang on to it, and he'll be just a couple laps down here, but it's better than being out of the race and having to tow down the pit road because you flipped over after the accident. So Coaster will inherit the lead under this caution period. We saw him get around Travis Wright. Matt Kemp right there in the 1 machine. He looks very, very quick. And as we approach halfway in this one, I think my pick just might have to be Matt Kemp, Colton.
He's definitely shown that he's got pretty impressive pace in that car. There's enough evidence just with him starting where he did and where he is now. Though I know Nathan Coaster, he's one tough competitor. He will drive that car a different level if he needs to. He's very quick, as is Matt Kemp. So if they go wheel to wheel, it should be a very clean. Good race.
Yeah, and you mentioned the clean part of that. We've seen a lot of the accidents in this race happening towards the back of the pack. These front drivers have been keeping it relatively clean, so I anticipate another repeat of that here. But after 12 cautions here tonight, we are approaching and almost to the halfway mark. A lot of cars have been dropped out of this race. I believe we still have 30 cars still out and running, many laps down, but Zach Nichols still a few laps down in the 44 machine. So a lot of stories have been told so far during this race, but right now the story to be told is the 53 machine of Nathan Coaster and Travis Wright bringing us into the green.
Coaster out of turn 4. He will step on the loud pedal, and we are back racing here at Nashville. Matt Kemp already looking to the inside of Travis Wright. He'll pick up the second position. Here comes Dalton Collins for the third position, and Alan Young for the fourth position. Travis Wright having a disastrous restart here. He's lost a couple positions to Kemp and Collins, and now Alan Young is to his inside, looking for the fourth position. As he will pick it up down the backstretch, move the 24 machine into the fourth position, with Greg Evans now coming to the inside of Travis Wright, as we have contact between Shane Williamson and Britt Van Meter. Some very respectful pieces of driving there to keep those cars out of the fence, as we are back under the yellow flag.
Yeah, Jake Brooks on pit lane right here after being involved in that incident on lap 200. We'll take a look at what exactly happened as they're heading down the back straightaway. You see Brooks right here and Mark Myers in front of him. Brooks in the 57 just heading down the back straightaway like he normally would, and gets into turns 3 and 4. Slides up the racetrack a little bit, tags the 04 of Myers. Brings the 57 to rest, and right there, exactly what we saw happen with the number 52 machine of Jeff Dillon. We saw it happen right there with the number 57 of Jake Brooks. So take another angle of it and see exactly what happened, but not what you want to see for the 57 machine of Jake Brooks. Is right here with some pretty good camera work from our crew. Brooks just going up and over. Really unfortunate break. Brooks just having a good race running in the tail end of the lead lap cars, but right now he's going to have to tow back to the pit lane. That's going to put him several laps down. As we are past halfway in this one. Currently on lap 203, Nathan Coaster, your leader. And we're going to talk about him one more time. Matt Kemp up into the second spot. He got around Travis Wright. Wright did end up coming down pit road that last time by. So, Wright does come down pit road. The last time these guys up front came down pit road was lap 174, so just about 25 laps ago, these guys pit stop right now. Not the priority for these guys up in the front, but I can promise you when we go back green flag racing this time, it will be a good brawl to the top spot between Nathan Coaster and Matt Kemp.
Benny Hogan will pick up the wave around again here under the yellow flag. He dropped one lap down again. I don't know how he dropped another lap down, but he did, and he will pick up that lap again. Now back on the lead lap. That puts Ethan Wolf next in line for the wave around. Ethan Wolf, Jimmy Gowker, Bill Harkins, Chris Weigel are all one lap down, and still Zach Nichols 2 laps down. He cannot seem to pick up any more laps. I think he's going to need any more yellows and some guys ahead of him to get those laps back before it's his turn, because 1 lap down to the car right ahead of him, so it's basically impossible to make up any position.
Yeah, and Colton, I know what it's like to be in that position right now for Zach Nichols, and it's so easy to get frustrated and want to park the car for the night, but only 2 laps down and 200 laps to go. That's a lot of time of racing left to go, and we saw people overcome things already this race. Matt Kemp started in the third position, and he's already up into the second spot right now. So a long way to go for Zach Nichols, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him there at the end of the race. The pace truck drops down to pit road, and it's in the hands of Coaster and Kemp. Kemp going with him. Dalton Collins brought along as well. There's a little bit of a gap back to Greg Evans in the fourth spot, but nonetheless, we are back racing, and Matt Kemp is really racing. He's going to be to the outside of Nathan Coaster into turn number 3.
Kemp looking for the lead on the outside of Coaster. Coaster will slide up off of turn 4 and make sure that he still holds that first position, as we are again under yellow flag. Some drivers cannot seem to figure it out here that there's a long way to go and there's no reason to be pushing already, but we are pushing, so that's what's putting us mainly under yellow here, lap after lap after lap.
Right here out of turn number 4, you see the 60 machine of Steve Wright just come up the racetrack ever so slightly, and unfortunately the 08 was right there. So Josh Smith, Steve Wright involved in the accident right there, and that'll put us under yellow once again.
Under this yellow flag, we see another heavy hitter with the feature of the wave around here in iRacing. Number 112 of Ethan Wolf gets his lap back. That's critical for him in his race here tonight, as he will be looking to charge up from the rear of the lap cars to be up there in the top 5, battling for the win here tonight in the online All-American 400. Lights are still on the iRacing.com pace truck, so we will not be going green flag this time around. So Nathan Costa that leads from Matt Kemp, Dalton Collins, Shane Williamson, and Greg Evans. Those are your top 5. Crucially, 3 cars ahead of Zach Nichols that are still 1 lap down. So 4 more cautions and Zach Nichols will start to get some of his laps back, and then he can really go racing and attempt to hunt down the win here tonight, assuming things go his way. But unfortunate luck for Mark Keeman. Something has happened to him, and he's 30 laps down, but we will be coming to green here soon. I believe the lights should go off on the iRacing.com pace truck possibly this time.
Yep, the pace car lights do drop off, and it's once again Coaster, Kemp, Collins, Williamson. The top 4 right there, the heaviest hitters that we've seen so far in this one. With the exception of Zach Nichols back in the back of the pack right there, he will have to have some good luck going forward throughout the rest of this race, as we are past halfway and not the time for you to be 2 laps down. But into turns 3 and 4, Coaster and Kemp side by side. Pace car dropping off to the bottom side of the racetrack. It's in the hands of Nathan Coaster, Matt Kemp, Dalton Collins, and Shane Williamson. We are back racing out of turn number 4.
Coaster gets a good jump into turns 1 and 2, and he will take over the first position once again. Dalton Collins to the inside of Matt Kemp as someone is riding the fence into turns 1 and 2. He's going to spin and cause mayhem in the middle of turns 3 and 4. Somebody was riding the backstretch wall, and then when he came off the wall, just couldn't control it and brought out another yellow.
Yeah, I'm going to take a look at what exactly happened here. Just not exactly like what you want to see, especially with almost 200 laps remaining, is right here. The number 121 machine of Cody Jordan grabs the wall, and that just caused a huge melee down the back straightaway. We'll go to our friends in the Goodyear Blimp for this one. It's right here. You see Jordan up the racetrack. The 77 machine just nowhere to go, and everybody piles in. Hoyer gets tagged into the 13. See the number 5 machine going around once again. Benny Hogan just not having good luck, and we've seen that he's had good speed so far in this one, just the luck not there for him. And folks, Mark Keatman is back in the session here at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, just trying to log laps and pick up as many positions as he can. Obviously out of contention for the victory here, but I'm just trying to make as many laps as he can and have a little bit of fun with the race. So I will say Mark Keatman is back in the session, so if you see the 54 car rolling around, that is why. Is right here, Nathan Coaster, your leader. Dalton Collins ended up getting around Matt Kemp right there. Then he brought Shane Williamson along with him, so Kemp went from 2nd to 4th on that last restart. Coaster able to hang on to the lead. Colton, I got to wonder, is anybody going to be able to take the lead on a restart? So far, we haven't been able to see many guys in the 2nd, 3rd position grab that lead on the start. Other than that one challenge that we saw from Nathan Coaster, but even then he was not able to drive up and around Shane Williamson. What's it going to take for people to get up and around the leader on the outside?
A massive usage of the tires. The outside is actually the preferred line here, although it doesn't look like it thus far. You would want to be on the outside on into turn 1. I don't think anybody's going to use that much of their tire this early. 'Cause they still have likely another pit stop ahead of them here tonight. So they want to keep saving these tires, that way they can use them up right towards the end of their life. They'll pit and put on another set of fresh tires, but I doubt we'll see another change for the lead. It would have to cause Collins and Coaster going in at a dead heave into turn 1, and then Collins will have to roll the outside much better than Coaster rolls the inside, which that's another tall order because Coaster has logged thousands of laps around this track, so he knows how to get around this racetrack. So outdoing him around the outside would be quite a tall ask, as the lights are out on the iRacing.com pace truck.
Yep, the lights are out. Dalton Collins, Nathan Coaster going to be bringing us back to green, and as we've reached the halfway point in this one, I've got a new snack in my hands here, Colton. I've actually went and grabbed a bag of jet-puffed marshmallows, and that's going to be bringing me through the rest of the race here. That and a lot of water. But as we head into turns 3 and 4, the pace car drops to the bottom side of the racetrack. We are back racing, and Nathan Coaster goes. And down into turns 1 and 2. Collins trying to follow Coaster. Williamson right there as well, side by side with Matt Kemp for the 3rd spot. Looks like they all single file out relatively quickly. It's Brandon Wilkinson working the inside of Lane Hostler in the 61 machine. Alex Sexton right there with them. So as they make their way into turns 1 and 2, still side by side is Wilkinson and Hostler for that 6th spot. As Holster kind of grabbed the outside wall there, that's going to shuffle him up the racetrack the slightest bit and allow Brandon Wilkinson to get into that position. Alex Sexton riding right there behind him in the 8th position. Just don't look now, folks, but up front, Nathan Coaster has just hit the fastest lap of the race. You see right here, everybody's last time around. Look at how much faster Nathan Coaster was in the 53. So still a lot of speed left, even though we've put some laps on these tires, as Dalton Collins loses the 2nd spot to Shane Williamson.
Williamson looks like to be the man on the move here. He is rolling the corners better than anyone I've seen so far on this run, as he will try to close the gap between him and Nathan Coaster. A little bit of a battle for the 5th position between Greg Evans and Brandon Wilkinson. Wilkinson was looking to the inside, but thought better of it and fell right back in line, but they are nose to tail right back there as Shane Williamson takes a 10th out of Nathan Coaster's advantage over 1 lap.
Yeah, and as I was just mentioning, Nathan Coaster running the fastest lap out of anybody in the race. Shane Williamson just went a couple 100ths quicker right there. So Williamson also having speed in the 153 right behind your leader, Nathan Coaster. So it's right now a battle of the 53s. You see the red 53, Shane Williamson closing the gap into turns 3 and 4 that time. These cars still have a lot of pace left in them as they start to break away from Dalton Collins and Matt Kemp.
Lots of pace left in the tank for sure, as looks like everybody here in this lead pack has single filed themselves out. Over that last yellow, Jimmy Gauker did get his lap back. He's currently running in the 18th position. Another heavy hitter here tonight that finds his way back to the lead lap, which is crucial for his race. But Cody Jordan fell 1 lap down, which that just hurts Zach Nichols. That means there's another car that has to get his lap back before it is his turn. Out front, Shane Williamson all over the rear bumper of Nathan Coaster.
Yeah, we saw Williamson peek to the inside that time down the back straightaway. Coaster shutting the door, saying, no, I want this lead right now, and you're going to have to work for it as Williamson makes the move to the inside. Contact made as Coaster goes up the racetrack. Williamson going to run away with the lead, and Coaster now going to fall back into the clutches of Dalton Collins for the second spot, but you saw the contact there. Williamson up the racetrack the slightest bit and got into the left rear, and Nathan Coaster loses the lead on lap 230.
Yellow flag flies here again at Nashville.
Yeah, it's the number 48 machine, Curtis Yancey, around on the front stretch. We'll take a look at what happened. It looks like there's not that much damage for the number 48, but we'll take a look at what exactly happened. This is a wreck that started on the back straightaway right here, the 48 car. You see him as he goes into turns 3 and 4 right here. He goes up the racetrack and starts losing traction in those right side tires, and out of turn number 4 just gets a lot of it sideways. Actually clips the 34 machine as well. So Curtis Yancey going around, also clipping Brandon Thomas in the 34. So a couple cars collected, and that puts us under yellow once again on lap 233 out of 400.
Under the yellow here, we see Dalton Collins and Brandon Wilkinson into the pit lane. Looks like Collins just takes fuel. Meanwhile, Wilkinson up on the jacks, getting some fresh tires underneath that 56 machine, as Wilkinson will be charging through the field with those 4 fresh tires.
Yeah, we've seen how much tires can affect the handling of these race cars, and not necessarily the raw speed, Colton, but one thing I've noticed here on iRacing is you just have that much more maneuverability with those new tires. So Wilkinson in this 56 machine should definitely be charging towards the front and in a hurry. But one guy that's charging towards the front right now is the 53 of Shane Williamson, who took over the top spot just before that caution came out, and after a little bit of contact with the 53 and Nathan Coaster. How will those two race each other throughout the rest of the race?
I know Nathan, he will not forget that contact. He'll remember it for the rest of this race, and I bet if those are the two that are gonna go down for the win, I bet we see some bump and run action, or just not very clean racing, but gotta pay them back for what they did to you. So I know Coaster will remember that move and put it in his memory bank for a possible later event.
And Colton, that's one of the things that as a racer you just have to do. You can't dwell on that incident right there and let it affect the way that you run the rest of your race. You just kind of have to know what happened and how it happened, and just maybe potentially use that against your opponent later in the race. But right now, lap 235. I'm sure Nate's not going to want to get right back at Shane Williamson, let alone make more contact than what was already had right there. I know Nate is not a guy that likes making contact for a position, and especially not in a race like this where track position and strategy is so key. He would not want to throw off his strategy going forward. But lap 236 right here, we're going to be sending him back to green this time around on lap 237. I'm letting you take it away, Colton.
The iRacing.com pace truck will pull down to the inside of turns 3 and 4. We'll put it in the hands of the pair of 53s. Williamson and Coaster out of turns 3 and 4. Williamson gets on the throttle much earlier than Coaster would have been expecting. Williamson with a 2-car length advantage into turn 1. Coaster will remain in second, Kemp into third, as we have more trouble in the middle of turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, Jimmy Gauker slowed on the bottom side of the racetrack. As we saw him on the apron right there, it looks like he might have gotten tagged. We'll take a look at what exactly happened as they were headed through turns 1 and 2. And right here, as they got across the stripe, it looks like he was battling with Benny Hogan and Dalton Collins for the 11th spot. He was riding in 11th right here. So as they were going through the center of the corner, Gauker kind of checks up a little bit to not get into the back end of the 77 machine of Ryan Strunk, and nowhere for the 95 of Collins to go. Is Gauker right there, just kind of a victim of circumstance. You saw the 77 machine check up a little bit, and Gauker checked up to not get into him, and then there was nowhere for Dalton Collins and the 95 machine to go, so that puts us under yellow once again, and still your leader up front, Shane Williamson. Nathan Coaster second, Matt Kemp third, Lane Hosler fourth, Greg Evans, and look right there in the 6th position, Colton, Alex Sexton sneaking up into the front half of the top 10 with a lot of damage on his race car. Is he going to be able to compete with these guys for the victory?
I think he'll be able to. He's already worked his way up to 6. Why not go for a little bit more? I think although he has a lot of right front damage, I think he's still got a good race car underneath him. I think he'll be a good contestant for the win. And I know for you fans, all these yellows are kind of dull in the action here, but I can tell you one person that is absolutely enjoying all these yellows is the number 44, Zach Nichols. There's only one car ahead of him that is still 1 lap down. That's the number 21, Cody Jordan. After that, all the waiver rounds will go to him, and he will get back on the lead lap here. As I say that, the 02 of Jimmy Gauker and the 111 of Craig Weigel go 1 lap down, therefore hurting Nichols' chances that much more.
Yeah, you see those two drivers on pit road. Now, in the event that Zach Nichols actually comes around the racetrack right here and passes Craig Weigel, as we see Weigel stopped on pit road getting some service done on the 111 the machine. In the event that Nichols comes around right here and it gets around the 111, and as I say that, Weigel in the 111 machine pulling away out of the pits just in time to not go 2 laps down, but still nonetheless 1 lap down, and that just puts 3 more cars in line before Zach Nichols can get his waiver rounds, Colton.
Nichols will be praying for any more cautions and less cars going 1 lap down for his chances here tonight. It's got to be frustrating for him and behind the wheel of the 44 machine. He's so close to getting back on the lead lap, and then an event like that happens. It's unfortunate to see that, but the lights are out on the iRacing.com pace truck, and I'll let Winston bring them to green.
Yeah, as they head to the green, the pace car dropping to the bottom side of the racetrack. Once again, it's the pair of 53s, and Williamson going, and Nathan Coaster goes with them, and down into turns 1 and 2. We are back green flag racing.
Out of turns 2.
Yeah, down the back straightaway. Sorry, I had to swallow the rest of my marshmallow right there, Colton, as they are pretty good, and caution flag flying once again. Jeffrey Eddy, Kenneth Farmer involved, as Eddie spun around down the back straightaway. We'll take a look at what happened as they were coming down the backstretch. Yeah, right here, the 121 machine, just nowhere really for him to go. You saw the 59 in front of him kind of slow up once the 121 was already into the gas, so Farmer going around as well as Jeffrey Eddy. But right there, you just saw nowhere really for Cody Jordan in the 121 machine to go. So unfortunate, but just once again, as we've said before, just a victim of circumstance. And Colton, you know what I was originally thinking before we went green right there, what it's like to be in Zach Nichols' position, and it just sucks because you obviously Nichols having the speed to get back to the front and go and take the position away from the leaders and become the leader. We've seen him prove that he has that speed, but he can't do that right now due to the caution. If he passes the leader under the green flag condition, he will get his lap back. But the problem, Colton, is that every time these cautions keep happening, he falls to the back of the tail end of the lead lap cars. So no matter how hard he charges to the front, he just has to go back to the end of the tail, or to the tail end of the lead lap. So very frustrating event so far for Zach Nichols after being trapped, pitting under green flag. As we approach lap 300, we're going to be seeing 150 laps to go in just a couple laps. How does Zach Nichols plan the rest of his race out to try and get back on the lead lap?
Can't start planning anything until you're back on the lead lap. He's gotta just be patient and hope that more and more yellows come out and that less cars keep going one lap down. Then once he gets on, assuming and hoping that he gets back on the lead lap, he'll start planning how he's going to charge back up to the front. Just a very tough situation for the 44 machine thus far, but some good news, Cody Jordan has fallen 2 laps down and Zach Nichols has overtaken Cody Jordan. Therefore, Craig Weigel in the 111, the only car ahead of Zach Nichols.
Yeah, the only car 1 lap down ahead of Nichols is, as you said, the 111 of Craig Weigel. But as we've seen so far, incidents happen and these cars go 1 lap down and just put Zach Nichols further and further behind. So he's got to get 2 wave rounds in order to be on the lead lap here, and I believe we're coming to 1 to go this time by. As the lights do end up going off in the iRacing.com pace car. And folks, you've heard me having troubles getting my marshmallows finished. The marshmallows are a very good snack to get you through the rest of your day. I would highly recommend them. But as we work the later stages of this race, I want to hear what you guys are snacking on towards the end of this one, because this race has taken a lot out of me. We're approaching the 3-hour mark, and I'm sure a lot of people have indulged to eating snacks as well. But nonetheless, we are back racing as the pace car heads down the pit lane, and once again, Williamson and Coaster going green out of turn number 4. Williamson able to get good starts here, Colton. I don't know if anybody's really had a challenge for him other than when Nathan Coaster really got around his outside.
Big crash down the back straightaway. Huge crash. Alex Sexton is involved along with the 2 machine. I see Ethan Wolf back there. A huge crash down the back straightaway.
And right there, Colton, you saw the 44 of Zach Nichols sliding in there, just barely missing the contact, as just a crazy turn of events. The caution flag flying, and we'll take a look at what exactly happened. It looks like it was Alex Sexton and the number 2 machine of Greg Evans, so we'll take a look at what happened to put us under yellow once again. As you see right here, coming up off of turn number 2, looks like the 2 of Evans just comes up the racetrack quite a bit, and a lot of cars piling in there. You see Ethan Wolf, the 112, the 59, Kenneth Farmer. Jake Brooks narrowly misses it on the bottom side of the racetrack. Benny Hogan in the 5. And right there, Zach Nichols doing a great job of avoiding the accident. But unfortunately, he goes for a slide. Alex Sexton on pit road. A lot of guys on pit road. And Colton, you know, I was just mentioning this, that if a caution does happen and it puts people more laps down, that's just going to affect Zach Nichols' chances even more. As right now, he is all the way back in the 22nd position, 2 laps down to your leader. to your leader, Shane Williamson.
Some impressive driving there from Nichols to keep away from contact right there. Ethan Wolf goes one lap down here under this yellow. That's just got to be frustrating for driver of the 44 machine if he looks at his standings black box. He will just become enraged at the fact that he has another car ahead of him that is still one lap down, and he not get more laps back, assuming Wolf will be able to get out on track before the field comes around, which doesn't look like he's going to, as there goes the pace truck. Wolf now going to the left side, but Alex Sexton and Greg Evans still on the pit lane. We do not know if they're going to be able to get rolling anytime soon. Nichols will pass the 112 of Ethan Wolf.
Yeah,
Greg
Colton.
Evans is out on track, though. That's another car that is ahead of Zach Nichols that will be prohibiting him from getting his lap back.
Yeah, Colton, you mentioned Alex Sexton and Ethan Wolf down on the pit road. Looks like Sexton's car has been there for a while, and he's got a significant amount of damage, so he's going to go another lap down. So Zach Nichols scored in the 20th spot, and right now only one car in front of him for the lucky dog spot, and that's the number 2 machine of Greg Evans.
It's just how it's been for like the past 3 yellows. It seems like Nichols will be the next one in line, and then one car falls another lap down. It's incredible the flow of how cars are going one lap down here. It's just not playing to the hands of the 44, but I would imagine he will eventually get his wish and get back on the lead lap, as I'll let Winston bring us to green.
Yeah, you see the pace car dropping to the bottom side of the racetrack. And once again, the pair of 53s bring us to the green. Williamson going nice and early. And Coaster kind of falling asleep once again. That's going to open the door for Matt Kemp as Coaster quickly slams that door shut. It's Williamson, Coaster, and Kemp down the back straightaway. Your top 3 right now. Looking to the 4th spot once again. Lane Holsler kind of just sneaking back up there. He's going to be a potential threat at the victory of this race in case they go green. And as I say that, the caution flag flies. Curtis Yancey around on the front straightaway. We'll take a look at what happened to the 48 machine. And right here, it looks like going into turn number 3, Bill Harkins in the 11 machine just gets a little bit sideways and shoots up the racetrack, and you see the 48 right there, just nowhere for the 111 of Craig Weagle to go. They were checking up for the accident, and Weagle got in there a little bit late, and the caution flag flies. And I'm hearing right now from race control, we will be going to single file restarts. So this next restart coming up goes single file. And Colton, actually my league on Thursday nights here in the WD Broadcasting Network Super Series, we have single file restarts whenever there's a consecutive caution. So with the experience you have, how is that going to affect the way that this race pans out after the single file restart?
It'll allow cars to be a lot more spread out going into turn 1, which that's only going to be helpful because we seem to not be able to either race side by side or race as a whole because we are swinging off corners. But with the tires being at the age that they are, they could be getting very, very hot and angry and just not working for some drivers. But it will hopefully allow for some cleaner racing. I've been in a couple races where single file restarts actually increase the caution rate. It's a rarity, but hopefully that's not the case here, but it's always a possibility that we could get more and more yellows as some more very unfortunate luck for the 44 of Zach Nichols. The number 52 of Jeff Dillon is out on track one lap down ahead of the 44 machine, but Bill Harkins, who is scored currently 2 laps down, will be overtaken by Nichols. So again, one car between Nichols and the wave around position. Just another frustrating yellow for the 44 machine.
Yeah, and Colton, one thing right here I want to point out, when this started and Nichols went down 2 laps, he was originally scored in like the 29th, 30th position, and he's worked his way up, and he's scored 19th right now. So he's moved up quite a bit, but still just plagued 2 laps down. And we are almost to the lap 300 mark, 261 to be exact right here. And as the race winds down, you got to wonder if Nichols is potentially running out of time in the 44 machine. But Colton, another thing with the single file restarts, where this plan was put into place to kind of prevent a caution flag from happening right here because the cars are going to be spread out. You know how this works? I feel like this is a common sense thing here, but right now, Williamson, your leader, last pit on lap 180, Nathan Coaster and Matt Kemp, almost the same story, lap 174, so they're going to have a little bit less laps on fuel. Field makes their way into turns 3 and 4, and Williamson going nice and early. He's going to have a big gap back to Nathan Coaster and Matt Kemp in the 2nd and 3rd spots, racing into turn number 1.
The field automatically single filed out due to the single file restart, as Williamson uses that towards his advantage and gets away from the 53 of Nathan Coaster. As they start battling, they will begin battling towards the midfield, with some cars closing up to the rear bumpers of others.
Yeah, one of those right now, the number 2 machine of Greg Evans, who we saw towards the front of the field in this one, he is well off the pace in the number 2 machine. Some of that front end damage might be starting to bite him right here as he falls further and further back from Curtis Yancey in the 48 machine. It's right here.
Fortunate for the 2 machine. He was involved in that wreck with Alex Sexton. That was some pretty hard hits, so it doesn't surprise me that the 2 car is off the pace as we fall under another yellow flag here at Nashville.
Yeah, Tim Knott in the 41 machine. Not sure what exactly happened, but he went for a slide down the back straightaway, so we'll take a look at what happened. Right here, you see him battling with Craig Weigel. It's not up on top, and he just gets a little bit too much throttle, goes around. Also involved the number 52 machine. Jeff Dillon grabbed a little bit of contact in there as well. So the caution flag flying. And once again, we are put back under yellow flag conditions. But Colton, I want to note one thing right here. That was a relatively easy yellow. There wasn't a big pile up. Nothing huge happened. So that right there will actually help out Zach Nichols, because I believe one of the cars in front of him does get their wave around. Jeff Dillon right there.
Actually, Zach Nichols picks up the wave around because Jeff Dillon picked up an incident point from that wreck. That puts Zach Nichols 1 lap down. He's finally on the move after around 160 laps. Being stuck 2 laps down, Zach Nichols finally gains back 1 lap. Now all he has to do is pass Jeff Dillon and have 1 more caution or 2 more cautions, and he will be back on the lead lap.
Yeah, and Colton, one thing about this right here, I feel like me and you both knew from the time that he went 2 laps down that this race was not over for Zach Nichols. And Zach, with a lot of speed in that 44 machine, I don't think it's going to be much trouble for him to have to drive up and get around Jeff Dillon, has the other car 1 lap down. Is one thing I'm noticing right here, Matt Kemp in the 1 machine down pit road, getting tires and fuel. And this, honestly, Colton, I feel might be a good strategy, because before we went back green flag racing, I was trying to point out that Williamson and Coaster have not pit since lap 180 and 174. And last time around on a pit cycle, we saw them have to pit around the 110, 120 lap mark. So these guys are starting to push it close on fuel, and if we don't get a caution within the next 20 or so laps, these guys are going to start pushing it closer and closer, and we might have a repeat of last time.
Yeah, So there's been a lot more yellows, and therefore not as much fuel is being burned. As we see here under this yellow, the number 44, Zeg Nichols, he dives his car into the pit lane, and he is taking 4 fresh tires underneath that 44 machine as he's looking and preparing for a charge up to the front of the field.
Yeah, as Nichols finally, what seems like a victory for him to get just one lap back. But Colton, the thing here is we've got to get another one. He has to get another lap back in order to be in any kind of contention for this victory. So with just under 150 laps to go, we're going to have to see if the 44 Zach Nichols is able to get another lap back. But I believe we are going back to double file restarts. And it's Shane Williamson and Nathan Coaster are going to lead us to the green, Colton.
At a turn 4 here, Williamson gets on the gas pedal. Coaster still sleeping on that outside. Can't seem to figure out when Williamson's going to go. Down into turns 1 and 2. Williamson pulls out. Coaster pulls away from the third place. Like Britt Van Meter and Lane Hustler are battling side by side, exiting for that third position.
Yeah, right now, Hustler able to pick up the third spot, but look right behind them. Brandon Wilkinson, who we've seen.
Big crash. Huge crash. Benny Hogan has gone flying on the exit of turn 2. He was all 4 tires in the air. That was a wild crash.
Yeah, we'll take a look at what exactly happened. It looks like he was battling with the number 10 machine of Travis Wright, but unfortunately in front of him, the 02 of Jimmy Gowker gets into the looks like gets into the back bumper of Alan Young in the 24 machine, and then just, oh my goodness, Hogan going for a wild ride. We'll let you guys take a look at what exactly happens here. You see Hogan in the 5, you see the contact in front of him. We go up the racetrack. Hogan slamming the outside wall. He gets it back on all 4s and then gets collected with some more contact with Greg Evans, but just a massive hit to the outside wall. And Colton, if we have seen anything so far this race, I can almost assure you that Benny Hogan's car might just be a little bit under power. So we'll take a look at the incident once again. You see the contact in front of him and just, oh my, he's going into the wall at a very high rate of speed and just slams it and comes to almost a complete stop. So a lot of damage on the number 5 machine, but he seems to be still rolling. But Colton, how's that going to affect him going forward?
That's going to hurt him significantly for the rest of this race. I do not think we're going to see much out of Benny Hogan, but crucially, the 52 of Jeff Dillon gets his lap back. That puts Zach Nichols next in line. He finally sees light at the end of the tunnel from being laps down due to a unfortunate yellow at the wrong time earlier on this race. Zach Nichols finally seeing a opportunity for improvement of position outside of being laps down.
Yeah, and right now, you see the 53 of Nathan Coaster inheriting the lead under caution. That's because the 153 of Shane Williamson brought his car down pit road. And he is currently scored in the 9th spot. Matt Kemp right behind him in position number 10. So 2 heavy hitters right there in the back half of the top 10. Nichols right here, just 1 lap down in the 44 machine. So he is still well within contention. Nathan Coaster and Brandon Wilkinson will lead us to the green. And Colton, I'm going to step away for just a second, so I'm leaving this in your hands. Don't let me down.
And 4. The iRacing.com pace truck will go around for 1 more lap. Lights still on up top. That car has truck. Lights are out on the pace car. A new front row here. Nathan Coaster and Brandon Wilkinson. Wilkinson has had really, really good pace a couple laps into the run. We will see how that develops once we come around here to take the green. Matt Kemp and Shane Williamson starting in the 5th row. as Nathan Coaster will bring them to the green flag here off of turn 4. Coaster gets on the loud pedal and will be clear of Brandon Wilkinson into turn 1. Coaster with a big advantage over Wilkinson exiting turns 1 and 2 and down the back straightaway.
Yeah, we saw Coaster getting ahead of Brandon Wilkinson early on right there. It just seems like all night, Colton, we've seen people struggling to get the power down on those restarts, especially in the second spot. So at some point in this race, people are going to have to figure out how exactly to start in the second spot. And right now, Brandon Wilkinson is able to recover. I mean, he wasn't that far behind. He's only a couple tenths behind Nathan Coaster right now, but that positioning early on definitely doesn't improve Wilkinson's chances of getting the lead right there.
Now it's one thing to catch here, and it's another one to pass, as Wilkinson will be looking to close the gap to Coaster. Down towards the back, Matt Kemp and Shane Williamson do not seem to be making up the ground that I thought that they would. Not really going up the field as fast. I don't know if they took tires or just fuel. But as Williamson looks to the inside of Kemp, as we have one car upside down, barrel rolling down the back straightaway. I believe that is the 10 car of Travis Wright. A wild crash off a turn.
Yeah, wild accident there out of turn number 2. We saw Wright in the outside wall off the corner. He got a little bit sideways, and we'll take a look at the bobble off of turn 2. Gets under the bumps and just up the racetrack, grabs the wall and climbs it, and then upside down he goes, going for a wild tumble down the back straightaway. And very unfortunate, Greg Evans collected as well, getting in there a little bit late. So Travis Wright gonna have to call the tow truck to bring him back to pit road after that one. So very unfortunate. Very unfortunate for Travis Wright. He was running, I believe, in the about 5th position. So just not what you want to see for Wright right there. Is down the back straightaway. Nathan Coaster, your leader, on lap 285. And guess what, Colton? With this caution right here, you know what that's going to bring for Zach Nichols?
In the waiver run, I see Benny Hogan going around the outside of all the cars. He picks up a lap. I don't know if Nichols did pick up an incident. He might have hit the wall off of turn 2. His right side looks fine. I don't know why he did not get the waiver round. He was certainly eligible for it, but an interesting situation there for the 44 machine. But Benny Hogan picks up another lap. He made a green flag pit stop. Obviously the damage from that previous caution a little too much, and he needed to go fix a little bit more of it for him to be happy with his race car.
Yeah, very unfortunate break for Zach Nichols. Don't know exactly what happened there, but the 44 machine not getting his lap back this caution as we approach 100 to go. Your leader, Nathan Coaster, he has made more than 100 laps on this fuel run, so Coaster really pushing the limits here. If we have a long green flag run, Nathan Coaster might just be in a bad position here. It's his last lap, or his last pit stop was back on lap 174. So if we get a long green flag run here, Nathan Coaster in the 53 just might be in for a rough end of his race.
With how it's going, I think there'll be more cautions. I know Zach Nichols definitely wants at least one of them. He wants to get back on the lead lap of this race. He knows he has the pace. He knows he has the car. So he has it in him to drive back through this pack and drive through the field, get towards the front. The lights are still on the iRacing. Maybe they're not. I can't tell.
The lights are off, and we will be going green this time by. The lights are very hard to see in the iRacing.com pace car. You gotta have a good eye in order to spot them, but right now, fortunately, they are off, and it pulls off the racetrack. It's in the hands of Nathan Coaster and Brandon Wilkinson, Dalton Collins, Curtis Yancey, Matt Kemp, and Shane Williamson. And out of turn number 4, we are back racing. Coaster with another good restart. Wilkinson going to be under fire from Collins for the third spot. Is Kemp and Wilkinson is what I meant to say, but Williamson and Kemp now trying to get around Curtis Yancey for the fourth position.
Restarts we've seen here all day. Pulls really far away from Brandon Wilkinson as we have one car slow on the top of turn 2. Looks like the car back there got very, very tight and he had to slow up big time. Still out front is Nathan Coaster trying to stretch his advantage over the 56 of Brandon Wilkinson.
Yeah, you see Coaster head into turns 3 and 4 right here. Go past your screen. He's got about 8 car lengths on Wilkinson in the second spot. And he just continues to stretch out that lead. His last time around, Nathan Coaster almost a tenth quicker. So Wilkinson definitely going to have to pick up the pace if he wants a shot at the lead here. But we're approaching lap 300 here, Colton. Right now, Coaster really pushing the limits on the fuel, but right now it seems to be working out for him out front.
Looks like he has the best handling race car here as he's stretching his advantage over Brandon Wilkinson. But for that fourth position, we see Shane Williamson picking up the position over Curtis Yancey. Matt Kemp will try and follow suit as Williamson is getting his charge through the pack here. He's got the 95 of Dalton Collins right in front of him. He will look to pass the 95 machine in the next coming laps.
Yeah, Dalton Collins right there, the 95. He's been able to hang on despite that front end damage, but it looks like right now Williamson in the 53 just has a little bit more pace, and he might try to work around the 95 as he looks to the top side in turns 1 and 2.
Oh, it's a little too wide there to get a better run down the back straightaway, but you will not. As a big mistake there from the 48 machine of Curtis Yancey allows Matt Kemp to pass him, and now he is side by side with Britt Van Meter for that 7th position. Van Meter looks to the inside, middle of 3 and 4.
As Yancey grabs the wall right there, the handling might be starting to go away on the 48 machine as we saw him get into the outside wall and lose another spot to Lane Holsler. So move Curtis Yancey back to position number 8 with what looks to be an ill-handling race car. But up front, you look up to the second spot, and right there, 3 cars under a blanket battling for position number 2 as Nathan Coaster starts to run away in the 53. But the other 53 machine, Shane Williamson, getting to the inside of Dalton Collins. He's going to get that position with ease as now he starts to work the back bumper of Brandon Wilkinson.
Williamson looks like he has another good piece underneath him on this run. As going down the back straight, he'll look to the inside of Wilkinson. Wilkinson gives up the position. Move Brandon Williamson Shane Williamson, into the second position as Brandon Wilkinson allows Dalton Collins to go right around him into turn 1. Like Wilkinson does not have the pace and is letting people go around to try and go challenge for further up positions.
Yeah, and one thing I'm noting right here, the last time that Shane Williamson and Matt Kemp pit was lap 274 compared to Dalton Collins and Brandon Wilkinson coming in on lap 240 and 233. So the older tires on those cars might be starting to come into play right there as we saw Williamson kind of drive up and around those guys with ease. But one guy right here, Nathan Coaster, who has made this run stretch farther than anyone could ever think. And right now on lap 303, his last time pitting was lap 174. So he has made it 129 laps on this fuel run so far, and you gotta think that Nate is starting to really cut it close here, as we might have to see the 53 come to the pits in just a couple moments. But the battle right now for the 4th spot, Matt Kemp getting around Brandon Wilkinson. As Kemp showing good speed, he's going to drive up and try to get to the back bumper of Dalton Collins for the 3rd spot. But right now, Coaster in the 53-year leader, trying to stretch it out as much as he can here.
Over the last couple laps, Shane Williamson's bringing the gap down marginally per lap. Gotta wonder how much fuel is left in the tank of that 53 machine. You cannot think maybe a lot of fuel, because this is the longest I've ever seen someone stretch fuel. We've had a lot of yellows. I'm very curious to know how much fuel is left in that fuel tank for the 53 machine.
Yeah, and there's ways to save the fuel here. In the Super Late models, you got to shut the car off under caution and just be easy on your inputs right here. But even with that, we're pushing 135 laps on this run for Coaster, and even with all the caution, I just don't see him pushing it past the lap 3:15, 3:20 mark. So if Coaster doesn't get a caution here, within the next couple laps, he might be in the same boat that Zach Nichols was the majority of this race.
It's unfortunate for Coaster. He's run really, really good. He'll be praying for a caution so he can dive down into the pit lane and put more fuel into the back of that 53 machine and some fresh tires that will probably take him to the end of the race. But at the moment, it does not look like anything's happening, as the field is pretty strung out and no real battles are happening anywhere. So not looking too good for the 53 machine.
Yeah, Coaster really in this cockpit right now just got to be praying for a caution. Obviously, at this point in the race, pace is not his biggest priority, but even with that, he is starting to run faster lap times than Shane Williamson behind him. But as I say that time, Williamson in a 10th quicker, so Coaster might be starting to really lift early to try and save some of the fuel, as he is on lap 312 now. This Coaster out of turn number 4 puts lap 312 in the books, and he starts to work lap 313. But at some point, Colton's going to have to bite the bullet and bring the McDermott Equipment Solutions 53 down pit road, but it won't be this lap. He's going to make it one more lap around.
He'll try and extend it as long as he can to pray for a caution, and otherwise it will not be looking too good for the 53 machine. I can tell you another guy who's really wants a caution is the 44 of Zach Nichols. As these laps go by, it's less and less time for him to get his lap back and charge back through the field. They'll be praying for yellow, but at the moment, it looks like everybody's keeping it pretty well clean and green.
Yeah, and for a while there, Colton, there was a question of, is Coaster going to run out right here? But as we've pushed through lap 316, and I remember the last time I really checked, it was lap 303, and that was just about 15 laps ago. So Coaster able to stretch this longer than exactly what you said, anything I've ever seen here at the Nashville Fairgrounds. But without a doubt, he has to have a caution before the end of the race. I think everybody else is clean and green throughout the rest of the race, maybe with the exception of Brandon Wilkinson and Dalton Collins. Those two drivers will be having to pit as Coaster down on the bottom side of the racetrack. Looks like he's just getting around the lap car. Kenneth Farmer right there, but nonetheless has to have a caution from now to the rest of the race, and almost happens right there. The second spot right there, Williamson went to go to the inside of Farmer. Farmer wasn't quite ready to let him have it, as that's going to decrease the gap. Sorry, that's going to increase the gap back to the 53. So Nathan Coaster has a little bit more time to breathe and figure out what exactly to do with this fuel situation.
Fuel situation's an interesting one. Coaster really needs a caution. There's a few cars, lap traffic, he might get into that are nose to tail. That's the most probable place I can really see a caution being brought out. Other than that, the field seems pretty well single file and pretty strung out. Big gaps between each and every single race car, so the chances of a yellow are looking lower and lower.
Yeah, and right now, Colton, we actually went from having one guy hoping for a yellow to now two, because obviously this entire race, Zach Nichols has been preying upon yellow flags, and he really needs one right now to get back on the lead lap. But Nathan Coaster right here, lap 322 out of 400. He's really going to need a yellow within the next probably 20 laps before he's going to have to bring that 53 machine pit side. Right now, it looks to be working out for him so far, as Shane Williamson in the second spot is kind of hanging around a half a second back. And then back to Dalton Collins, it's another 2 seconds as him, Matt Kemp, and Brandon Wilkinson start going at it for the third position.
Kemp started in 33rd, he's in 4th. Just cannot praise him enough for how impressive that is. Nashville's hard to overtake at. So that just shows his skill and ways to get through the pack, as he just looks to be a little bit stuck behind the 95 machine at the moment, but looks like Shane Williamson is really closing the gap now to the 53 at Nathan Coaster. It's coming down visibly a lot every single lap, so looks like Coaster really trying to feel safe here and stretch this stint as long as he can.
Yeah, and right now, for me, Coaster, his priority really needs to be put as many lap times as he can and try and get as many people lapped down as you can right here, because with knowledge, knowing that you will not make it for the rest of the race, you have to have a backup plan in case we don't get a caution right here. And right now, Williamson, we're on board with him, seems to be just kind of putting in laps right here, comfortable with where he is, because he knows when Nathan Coaster runs out of fuel, he's got a 2-second back gap to Dalton Collins for the remainder of this race. So we're coming up on 70 laps to go, and Nathan Coaster puts another car 1 lap down, Craig Weigel, in the 111 machine. And right there, Colton, that is not what Zach Nichols in the 44 wanted to see, because before that car right there, Coaster was just kind of battling with people that he had already lapped previously in the race. But right there, Craig Weigel is the first car 1 lap down, so he is in the position for the wave around. So if the caution flag flew right here, Zach Nichols would not be the lucky dog. But as I say that, 53 of Shane Williamson gets around Nathan Coaster. So new leader on lap 330, Shane Williamson across the stripe into the top spot.
Impressive there from Shane Williams, just got the move done, and now is trying to stretch the lead over Nathan Coaster. Obviously hunted him down from nearly a second back to what it is now. So Shane Williamson looks to be car to beat here with about 70 laps remaining.
And obviously, Williamson right there, last lap he pitted was lap 274, so I believe he will be good for the remainder of the race, given that he saved fuel under those caution flags. But right now, he is your leader. Dalton Collins a good 2.5 seconds back in the third position. Matt Kemp running 4th. And Brandon Wilkinson, your top 5, as we will step away in just a moment. We will be back on the WD Broadcasting Network. folks, we are back here on the WD Broadcasting Network. Right now, Shane Williamson still your leader, lap 340. Right now, Williamson leader, Nathan Coaster second, Kemp, Wilkinson, Collins your top five is, Nathan Coaster with a close call with the number 41 machine of Tim Knott, who goes one lap down. Grabs a little bit of that outside wall, not having problems down the front straightaway, but right here is not going one lap down. Beagle goes another lap down. Nichols right now the third car in line to get the wave around. So unfortunately for Zach Nichols, this green flag run lasted a little bit too long, and he's not able to get around those drivers. As the laps fade away here, time is running out for anybody trying to run down that 153 of Shane Williamson. So Williamson out of turn number 4. He sees lap 42. So down the back straightaway, Williamson with about 0.7 of a second gap to Coaster, and then another 2 seconds back to Dalton Collins in the 95, who currently sits in the 3rd position. Just before we went to the break there, we saw Kemp and Wilkinson in positions 4 and 5, trying to get up to the back bumper of Collins, and we're just about there, but they've fallen back about 0.7 of a second, and they now battle for the 4th spot. You see Kemp in the 1 and Wilkinson in the 56. This, folks, an important thing to note right there. Zach Nichols in the 44 machine has just gotten around Craig Weigel. So Nichols no longer 2 cars in line. If he can get up in front of Tim Knott, who goes into turns 1 and 2 right here, you see the difference between those two on the track. Right here, not going in to turns 1 and 2. Nichols not too far behind. So not in the 41 machine. Really going to have to get on his high horse right here to try and get to the back bumper, or try to escape the front bumper of Zach Nichols, that is. Right now, Williamson in the 53, your leader. Coaster in the 2nd spot. Still on the racetrack, not coming to pit road yet like we initially thought, as right now Shane Williamson going and putting Jake Brooks another lap down, make that 5 laps for Brooks. But on the left side of your screen right there, you see the 40 of Tim Knott and the 44 of Zach Nichols at the bottom right there. As Williamson slowly starts to approach another group of cars right here. That could spell trouble for Zach Nichols. That might put him even further in line. As we look in with the white number 53, Nathan Coaster, still just a race against time here. 50 laps to go for Shane Williamson in the 153. And Coaster sitting in the 2nd spot right now, knowing that he will not make it to lap 400 on fuel. And really, it's a guess for almost everybody in the field. Nobody pitting since that last caution, and it's been quite a few laps, so nobody really certain to go the rest of the way green. Nobody really certain to go the rest of the way on fuel, depending on how much they saved under the cautions. But Williamson seems to be unaffected right now. He's just continuing to lead laps and pull away. We have completed 351 laps of this event. Folks, I'd love to thank each and every one of you that have tuned in for all 3 hours of this event so far. It's been a fun ride, and we're currently closing in on the lap 400 mark with Shane Williamson in the lead, your pole sitter here tonight. But as we wind this race down, I'd like to thank each and every one of you that have put in time on your Saturday night to spend it with me and Colton here at the WD Broadcasting Network. It means a lot to us. It's been a very fun broadcast. there's still more action heating up with 50 laps to go.
Coaster will still be praying for a caution. He really needs it. I think his tires are nearly 200 laps old. Are the tires on the 53 machine? He will want to have a yellow here soon. As crucially, here comes Zach Nichols on the 41 machine of Tim Knott. Nichols will put it down to the inside, and Knott will fight this one because he'll realize this is the battle for the lucky dog. As Knott goes way high in 3 and 4, give the position to Zach Nichols. He puts himself back into the lucky dog spot, and now all he needs is a yellow flag.
And right here, the really unfortunate thing for Nichols, the car in front of him on a 4 position, Greg Evans, the number 2 machine, currently scored on the lead lap, but right here as they come out of turn number 4, you look just a couple cars behind him, and there's Shane Williamson. So if Williamson does get up and around Greg Evans before the caution flag was to fly, then Nichols would actually lose the lucky dog, and Evans would get it once again. So Nichols really just once again in a race against time, as well as Nathan Coaster in the 53 machine, who has still not pit yet. It's almost been 200 laps since the 53 has gone down pit road. You gotta wonder when the clock's gonna strike for Nathan Coaster.
Couldn't be too far away now, as if there is to be a yellow, that would spice up this race. It would have to come out here in the next, I would say, 5 laps, because Williamson is closing on the back of the 2 machine of Greg Evans. As Ethan Wolf will pull to the outside, let Williamson by.
Yeah, and what's bad for Nichols in this situation is even if Greg Evans is able to get back around Williamson right here, right in front of Williamson is the 52 of Jeff Dillon. So 2 cars in front of Zach Nichols going a lap down right here as Williamson puts Evans a lap down. So we'll check in on where exactly Nichols is in comparison to Evans. So you see Evans in the center of 3 and 4 here as Nichols heads down the back straightaway. So quite a bit of ground to make up for the No Chance Motorsports number 44 with just under 40 laps to go. I just don't see that happening.
Now they need Coaster and Nichols. They need a yellow severely, but the field's just so strung out. The chances of yellow happening are just super unlikely.
Oh, caution flag is out.
Oh,
my
Nathan
gosh.
Coaster goes for a spin in turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, you saw it on your screen right there. He really fell back to Dalton Collins in the 95 machine and just got into the center of the corner a little bit too hard right there. As we'll take a look at what happened. Coaster was really starting to fall off the pace. The fuel really starting to run out for Coaster, as you see right here. Going into turns 1 and 2, the 53 got through the center, and Collins just slid up the racetrack right there, tagged the back end of the 53 of Coaster, and around he went. So that puts us under caution once again, and that's going to save a lot of people on this start, or on this on that long green flag round. That's going to save Nathan Coaster and put him back into the same strategy as everybody else, because undoubtedly everybody coming onto pit road right here, you see Coaster, Williamson, everybody will be coming down pit road. And except for the 44 machine of Zach Nichols, Greg Evans also staying out on the racetrack. So in order for those 2 guys to be gaining anything out of this, they really need a quick caution, because after this, Colton, Zach Nichols will be back on the lead lap. He will get a wave around before the start, and they will be back on the lead lap because everybody came down to pit. So there are no lead lap cars. In front of them, blocking them from getting that wave around. So Nichols is going to be able to get back on the lead lap right here. And with
What a
70
what a
to
race
go.
for Nichols.
Yeah, Zach Nichols has gone through a lot this race, and he's finally going to be back on the lead lap. But will he have enough time to charge to the front?
I don't know. I know Williamson. He's got fresh tires on. I think Nichols is gonna need a quick caution to dive into the pits, get those final set of fresh tires underneath him, and then go for a charge. That's all. Expecting a early caution, which is not at all guaranteed. So, be interesting to see what happens here. We go back green flag racing.
Yeah, and right there, one thing to note, Shane Williamson will be the leader. Matt Kemp going to be second. Brandon Wilkinson. Dalton Collins actually going to be going to the rear of the field after that incident. You saw the contact there, and Collins going to be going to the rear of the field. So unfortunate for Collins, but Nathan Coaster catches a lucky break. He's going to be in the 5th position, and we're going to be coming back to green with just under 30 laps to go, Colton. Things are really going to get exciting on this last restart, because right now all of this playing nice and letting people by that we've seen this entire race, that's all out the window. And now we're racing for the victory in the 25th annual online All-American 400. So things are going to be starting to heat up here. So we're going to be sending them green next time by.
As you see the 4 cars get released from behind the pace car, Nichols finally solidly back on the lead lap. He will now start his charge back up to the front as the pace truck pulls down to the inside of turns 3 and 4, leaves it in the hands of Shane Williamson and Matt Kemp. Williamson gets on the gas early and has a sizable gap over Kemp into turn 1.
Ooh,
as
contact.
Tim Knott goes sliding into turn 1. That is exactly more contact. Big wreck off of turn 2 after the yellow flag had already been displayed.
Wow, right there, exactly what we were talking about. The quick caution for Zach Nichols right there. But we'll take a look at the first piece of contact that happened. It looked like it was Dalton Collins and Tim Knott. Just not the right place and the right time, as we'll take a look from our friends up in the Goodyear blimp right here. You see Collins in the 95 just going down the racetrack and not quite giving any room right there. He goes around, nobody collected until Farmer and Brooks got there late. But then there was another incident, like Colton mentioned, coming out of turn number 2, involving a couple cars. So we'll take a look further up in front of them at what exactly happened. As right here, the 61 machine, Lane Holsler, he just kind of gets into, a little bit of netcode is what it looks like. He grabs the 56 of Brandon Wilkinson, and just very unfortunate. We saw him having a good run up in the front. That's going to put him behind here late in the race. But those of you that are unfamiliar to netcode and the iRacing.com simulator, so netcode basically is just when the computer registers contact when there really shouldn't be. So it can have anything really to do with your ping, how well your computer is running, your internet connection, anything like that. So unfortunate to see somebody have an issue due to netcode, but sometimes that's just part of it, and especially here on the iRacing.com simulator. So a few stories to pick up on. Zach Nichols down pit road. He's scored in the 13th spot right now. He is going to come down and undoubtedly get 4 fresh Hoosier tires as the field makes their way down the back straightaway. He's going to have plenty of time to get those tires changed and be back out before the green flag is thrown.
Just as we expected, Nichols finally getting what he wants. Nichols getting 4 fresh tires, and he will get his charge on to the front of the pack. He is hungry for the win here after a frustrating race. The only way to put it. He will be charging his way up using every single bit of his skill and his car up here in the last 25 laps.
Yeah, up front, Williamson, Kemp, Wilkinson, your top 3. 3 guys that we've seen up towards the front of this race quite a bit. well as Nathan Coaster sitting in the 4th spot. One that we've not talked about too much, and in the 5th position, the 27 machine, Britt Van Meter, just kind of having a quiet race in the 27 car, but Britt currently finds himself in the 5th position, so with 25 to go, we're going to be sending him Matt Green with 24. It's really anybody's game in the top 6.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Williamson heading down the back straightaway. I don't mean to interrupt you, Colton, but we're about to go green flag racing. So Williamson heading down the back stretch. Kempt is outside. Then Brandon Wilkinson, Nathan Coaster, Britt Van Meter, and Alan Young. Out of turn number 4, we are back green flag racing at the fairgrounds with 24 laps to go. Into turns 1 and 2. Williamson going to have a comfortable lead over Matt Kemp, but here comes Nathan Coaster to the outside. Wow, Coaster to the outside of Brandon Wilkinson right there for the 3rd spot. They are getting close on each other's doors. Out of turn number 4, it looks like Wilkinson's going to have the spot at the line, but he goes into turns 1 and 2 pretty low. He got a little bit loose off of the corner. So it looks like he's going to move up the racetrack. Coaster's going to have to fall back. Now Britt Van Meter tries to attack the 53. As the yellow flag flies out back. Looks like Tim Knott in the 41 machine sitting inside the inside wall on the back straightaway, so we'll take a look at what happened to the 41. It's right here coming out of turn number 2. He was behind Ethan Wolf in the 112. Looks like he just gets a little bit too much throttle too soon and spins it to the inside of the racetrack. So Tim Knott bringing it down pit road, might be calling it a night in the 41 machine. We've seen him involved in a couple accidents. Right here, that's just going to reset the field, and that's exactly what Shane Williamson did not want to see. That's just going to give other people chances to get even closer. One of those being the 44 machine of Zach Nichols. So Nichols in the 10th spot right now, and if he gets a couple more cautions, he can find himself inside the top 5 and potentially have a shot at the victory here, Colton.
Yeah, this should get very, very interesting here as we are closing in, and right here at the line, 20 laps remaining here in the original online All-American 400. It's, we got Nichols and Collins charging from the back, and we have battle of Williamson, Kemp, Wilkinson, and Coaster at the front. This should be a very good sprint to the finish if we go green, but I bet we're going to have some cautions that shake up adversity.
Yeah, and just like we saw in the real-life All-American 400 just a couple weeks ago, they were not done wrecking until coming to the white flag. We saw a massive 3-car accident where we almost saw a blowover in Super Late Model Racing. So with 19 laps to go, I'm going to expect the unexpected, and that we will see something shake up our top 5 right here. As we saw the last time by, Shane Williamson was able to get away nicely from Matt Kemp in the 2nd spot. What's it going to take, Colton, for Matt Kemp to improve his restart right here and have a shot at Shane Williamson?
What he could do is what I think you like to do is when you line up on the outside of somebody, you can pull ahead before you go green. You pull ahead about half a car length and watch your mirror. And once you hear their motor or see them get going, you better put your foot to the floor, and that normally would make sure that you guys are side by side at the line. Could do that and cheese the restart a little bit to get a better opportunity to overtake into turn 1.
Yep, you took the words right out of my mouth there, Colton. Really, right here, Kemp's going to have to nail this restart if he wants any shot at the lead going down into turns 1 and 2. And with the stage of where these tires are at, they last pit at lap 366. So these guys just might be a little bit too new to have anybody pass on the outside right here. But pace car drops to the bottom side of the racetrack. Shane Williamson, Matt Kemp, your leaders, and once again Williamson with a nice restart, and that's going to open up the door for Brandon Wilkinson to have a peek at Matt Kemp to the inside in turns 1 and 2.
Wilkinson down to the inside of Kemp down the back straightaway. Wilkinson will pull even down the back straightaway down into turns 3 and 4. Kemp's going to look to roll the outside. of Wilkinson. Into turn one, Wilkinson pushes Kemp up wide a little bit and down the back straightaway. Kemp looks like he might have hit the wall there as Wilkinson picks up the place. Now here comes Nathan Coaster to the inside of Matt Kemp.
Yeah, we saw them side by side there for quite a bit as the yellow flag flies. Ryan Strunk in the 77 machine is around, as well as Jimmy Gallagher up in the outside wall. So we'll take a look at what happened here, and we're under yellow once again with about 15 laps to go. Right here, it looks like Dalton Collins, the 77 machine, just gets a little bit too loose off of the corner and just grabs the right rear of Ryan Strong going into the corner. Zach Nichols also involved with some heavy damage on the front end of the 44 machine. So the caution flag flying and a lot of contact there on that one.
Nichols had kept his car very clean up to this point, and now I got some front end damage to it, but every other car does is Dalton Collins has disconnected from the session. Dalton Collins is done for the night here at the line All-American 400.
Yeah, it sucks for Collins. We saw him run strong throughout the majority of this race. He was running up in the top five, especially in the latter half of this event, but just caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. Can't really put it on him to get loose right there, but he definitely grabbed the number 77 machine and turned him up into the outside wall. Jimmy Gallagher and the 02 also collected in that. We saw Zach Nichols get a piece as well, but one thing I'm going to point out right here, Colton, is look at the top left of our screen right here, the top 20 right here. Shane Williamson, Matt Kemp, Nathan Coaster, Brett Van Meter, Alan Young, and in the 7th spot right there, Zach Nichols. So Nichols going to have a couple more restarts, I'd presume, here to pick up more and more positions. And before we know it, he's going to be battling with these guys for the top spot. He has not yet been up here and battled with these guys. When he was in the lead, he just kind of took off and never really had to battle with anybody. But with 10 laps to go right here, we're going to be sending him back to green with 10 to go. My pick right here might just be Zach Nichols. He has been through a lot in this race, and he's going to have a will to win it here when they come to the green.
Yeah, he's been charging, just picking up spots when wrecks happen. Obviously, he was involved in that last one, so we don't know how the car will be affected by that damage. As the pace truck looks to make one more lap around the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. I believe we will come to one green this time around as we come 10 laps to go.
Yeah, as the lights do go off in the iRacing.com pace car, so coming to 9 laps to go. This right here is what it all boils down to. We've gone for 390 laps, but who's going to lead the most important one, lap 400? We're going to find out as we send them back to green. As the pace car falls off of the off of the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, Shane Williamson, Brandon Wilkinson going to lead us to the stripe. Williamson going nice and early. Wilkinson going to be under fire from Matt Kemp and Nathan Coaster for the 2nd spot. And into turns 1 and 2, Wilkinson up top. Kemp on the bottom. Looks like Wilkinson's going to prevail and get the run off of the top side. That opens the door for Nathan Coaster to look up top and try and take the position away as well. As the head through turns 3 and 4, we're not done yet. The caution flag flies. Zach Hoyer sitting the wrong way. In turn 4, Josh Smith as well. So we'll take a look at what exactly happened.
All these yellows.
As you see right here, Zach Hoyer, the 13 machine, just gets up a little bit too much out of turn number 2. Nowhere for Jake Brooks to go, as you see Josh Smith and Steve Wright in the 60 as well. Kenneth Farmer tagging a piece of the action as well. So that'll put us under yellow once again. And folks, as we reach to the later stages of this race and the caution flags keep flying, I'd just like to point out that these drivers only going to be given 2 attempts at a green-white checkered. If we get to that point, they're only going to be given 2 attempts at the green-white checkered. So 7 laps to go right here. Williamson, your leader. Wilkinson in second. Kemp able to hang on to third. Coaster in the 4th position, and Alan Young in 5th. So my pick, Zach Nichols, on that restart wasn't able to pick up any spots. But right now, as the laps wind down, the patience has got to be getting thinner and thinner. Is anybody going to be able to top Shane Williamson, Colton, on this restart, as we've not been able to see anybody get it so far?
Just looks like everybody's sleeping on the restart with him. They just look like they can't match him when they come to the green, but all these yellows have to be horrible for Shane in the car. He wants this thing to go green. He knows he's really fast, and all these yellows just bring all of his rivals that much closer. He would like to finish this race off as soon as possible.
Yeah, and 5 laps to go here under caution. 28 cautions so far here in the 25th annual online All-American 400 presented by Brooks Motorsports, as a whopping 28 cautions. And Colton, something tells me right here we're just not done wrecking yet. With 2 attempts at this green-white checkered, I believe it might take both of them to get this race finished.
Oh, I doubt we're done wrecking yet. The aggression levels at its highest, the patience levels at its lowest. So I imagine there's going to be no holds barred here as we come to the green flag next time around.
Yeah, it's right here. It's Shane Williamson, Brandon Wilkinson, Matt Kemp, Nathan Coaster, Alan Young, and Britt Van Meter, your top 6. And we're rolling down the back straightaway. The lights are off in the iRacing.com pace car. You see on the top left of your screen right here, 4 laps to go. And with 4 to go, we're going to be setting them back to green with 3 right here. So 4 to go for your leader, Shane Williamson. Brandon Wilkinson going to have to charge him here in this restart. As the pace car drops to the bottom side of the racetrack, Wilkinson getting away much better, but still Williamson going to have 2, almost 3 car lengths going into turns 1 and 2. As they head into turns 1 and 2, down the back straightaway, Williamson with about 5 car lengths advantage on second place, Brandon Wilkinson. Matt Kemp and Nathan Coaster battling for the 3rd spot right now. Coaster up top, and almost contact made. Kemp having to go down the racetrack. That's going to allow Coaster to get the 3rd spot, and a caution flag flies. Another parking lot down in turns 1 and 2. And right here off of turn number 4, Britt Van Meter, the 27 machine, just gets up a little bit too much and tries to cut it back away from the wall. And right there was the 44 of Zach Nichols, just nowhere to go for the 44 machine. And they went down the racetrack, and a couple of other cars spun in there as well. So we will try for the green-white checkered finish right here. And Colton, I mentioned earlier that we had 2 attempts at it, but actually right here, it says there's only 1 attempt. So these guys are going to be given 1 attempt at the green-white checkered here. So whether or not it's a caution or it's the checkered flag, once we take the green, the next flag will end the race. So if they make it around to see the white flag, there will not be a second chance. So they're going to have to give it all on the line here in the last 4 laps of this All-American 400. So far, these restarts have just belonged to Shane Williamson. Really, on this restart right here, Brandon Wilkinson's going to have to pull something out of a hat if he wants any shot at the victory. And given the past couple restarts we've seen, Colton, I just don't know if Wilkinson's going to have anything for him here.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Jane's got these restarts figured out. it's going to be very, very challenging for anybody to even get to the rear bumper of Shane because he's not only fast on the starts, but he's ridiculously fast after that. So it's gonna have to take a super and stellar drive from one of these top 5 drivers to get to the rear bumper of Shane and possibly knock him out of the way. And I'd like to mention something. You remember about a really long time ago what happened between Shane Williamson and Nathan Coaster?
I do, and you said that Nate wasn't going to forget that. And to be honest, I forgot that, but I know Nate didn't. I've known Nate a long time, and he's not one to forget that. So if he gets a good restart right here, he might be able to repay the favor. But it's all going to boil down to this moment right here: 402 laps of just hard-fought attrition here from these guys. And everybody on your screen right here is what is left of them. So as they roll into turns 3 and 4, get one good look at them, because next time around they're going to be coming at you full speed. So the pace car not ready to pull off yet. Williamson, Wilkinson, Coaster, Kemp, Alan Young, and Greg Evans, your top 6. Will be going green next time by. This is what it's all going to boil down to, folks. This entire race, all the positioning these guys have done, all of the lucky breaks that they've had, all of the tough moments that they've had to go through, it's all going to matter right here. These top 4 drivers are what I believe are going to have the best chance at it. It's all going to depend on Brandon Wilkinson right here. He's got to get a good restart. Otherwise, the victory just might be handed over to Shane Williamson. As they go down into turn number 3, the final time. Pace car drops to the bottom side of the racetrack. Williamson and Wilkinson, your 2 control cars. Wilkinson getting a good restart that time. He's going to have the opportunity to look at the back bumper of Shane Williamson down into turns 1 and 2. Down the back straightaway. Sorry, Colton, I'm doing this one. Down the back stretch, Shane Williamson into turns 3 and 4, and up and out of the corner. The white flag being displayed. Shane Williamson sees the white flag down into turns 1 and 2. It looks like Wilkinson not going to have a shot to get to the back bumper of Williamson like we initially anticipated. Nathan Coaster, Matt Kemp battling for the 3rd spot, but down into turns 3 and 4, up and out of the corner. Shane Williamson from the pole is going to win the 25th annual Online All-American 400 presented by Brooks Motorsports.
What a drive there from Shane Williamson. He never missed his mark there. In the last 150 laps, he was spot on. A incredible drive from the number 153 machine.
Yeah, really just a remarkable performance from those top 4 right there. A lot of close moments between those guys, and coming home in the 5th spot, Greg Evans as well. You see the top 5 parked on the front straightaway. We're going to get a word from everyone in our top 5, but right there, Shane Williamson, your winner here tonight. We said that he had to be perfect on the restarts, and he was nothing short of that. He got away and never really had to look back at Brandon Wilkinson. And conveniently enough, Colton, one thing I want to point out, on that last lap of the race, lap 407, Shane Williamson actually ran the fastest lap of the race. So that's how much that's how you know just how much he was pushing to try and get away from Brandon Wilkinson in the 2nd spot. But folks, we're going to step away for a quick moment and get everybody lined up and get a word from our top 5 finishers before we wrap it up here at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. So we'll be right back in just a couple moments with our top 5. All right, folks, we are back here on the WD Broadcasting Network, and here we are getting ready to round out the coverage for the 25th annual online All-American 400 presented by Brooks Motorsports. And first, we'll get a word from our winner here tonight, Shane Williamson. Well, Shane, it's a pleasure talking to you here. We saw you sitting on the pole for this event, and luckily for you, you were able to maintain that top spot for the majority of the race. We saw you leading quite a bit early on, and we saw you take the lead from Nathan Coaster with about 40 laps to go, or sorry, 60 laps to go. You snuck away to the victory here in the All-American 400. What does that mean to you?
Oh man, it feels great. I didn't know where I was gonna be there at the beginning of the race. I led some laps, and then the car just got so tight. I just started letting people go. Got caught up in a wreck and was able to make my way back up to the front. And it feels good, man. The car felt so good at the end.
Yeah, we saw you drive up and get around Nathan Coaster as he was kind of pushing it close on fuel, and you looked like you had the car to win. And as of right there, you showed us pretty clearly, especially on those last couple of restarts, we saw your 53 machine sneak away and not really have any trouble holding off the rest of the field. But that being said, I mean, so many yellow flags throughout this race. I believe 29 was the final number. Just what kind of endurance did you have to get through the rest or through the entirety of this race and find yourself in victory lane at the end?
Man, yeah, the mental aspect of it, just trying to stay focused through everything. We had a long green flag run, and I'm not gonna lie, I forgot what corner I was in at one point, and it threw my whole throttle input off. And then I was like, okay, all right, I'm in 3 and 4. Like I know where to brake and get back on the throttle here. But just being a long race and managing tires was really important, and getting through lap traffic. But lap traffic did a really good job and gave plenty of room.
Yeah, noting about the lap traffic, you had really no issues getting through them, and that might have helped you just a little bit, kind of get closer to the back bumper of Nathan Coaster and sneak away once he did get around him. But like to once again congratulate you on your victory, and I'll give you a shout out, or I'll give you time to shout out and thank whoever you need to thank, because I'm sure it took a lot to get your number 53 machine into victory lane here tonight.
Oh yeah, it took a lot. One, Josh Cottle with Cottle Captures. He actually painted the car, made it look good. He takes pretty good screenshots too, amazing quality. So if anybody needs anything, go to him. Rocket iRace Wraps, even though he didn't paint this car, Jacob Hayes, he does a lot of good work. I think he does a lot of work with like a House of Speed over on the dirt side. Great stuff. BSRM, Brett Suggs Racing and Marketing. He's a good dude. He streams on Twitch. I think it's Brett Suggs 33. He actually just had a pro late model race at Hickory Motor Speedway, I think is what it is, at the Fall Brawl, and finished fourth. So shout out to him on a good finish for tonight.
Alrighty, well, a good team effort that you guys put in here tonight, and you walk away with the victory. So congratulations, and we look forward to seeing you back on the WD Broadcasting Network at some point in the near future.
Yeah, I definitely want to come back. This was fun. Thanks for putting it on, guys, and thanks for the broadcast. I also want to send a shout out to the shop and the boys there. Couldn't do it without them either.
Alrighty, well, congratulations, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your All-American 400 weekend.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yep. That was your winner here tonight, and Colton, just kind of what we thought we would hear from Shane Williamson, calm, cool, and collected. It's how you have to be in the later stages of this event, and that he put it to the test here tonight and walked away with the victory. But now we will talk to the rest of our top 5, starting with our second place finisher, Brandon Wilkinson. Well, Brandon, we saw you get a better restart that last time around, but just not quite enough, and Shane kind of walked away there in the closing laps. What was different with the end of your race to the end of his?
Yeah, I don't know. I go back to a couple of those early restarts there where I ended up getting spun there probably 40% into the race. Just, because the guy is just not being patient, but, it's just how it goes with these longer races. I kind of put myself back there with strategy and thought it was the right thing to do, and obviously it wasn't. So that's just how it crumbles. We had some pretty bad damage there. definitely affected the handling. Right front wear, I did some pretty extensive testing there after 40 or 50 laps. I thought I had a really good understanding as to what I needed to do to make the right front last, and the damage just killed it. So Shane was obviously a top 2 car at worst. I thought I could have competed with him, especially early on. Seeing the speed him and I had, we kind of tested together earlier too. So um, yeah, I mean the best 2 cars finished 1-2, which is always good, but definitely wanted to be 1 spot better.
Yeah, 1 spot better would have been the victory here tonight, but you fall to second, and second is still a pretty good finishing position, especially after 400 laps of hard-fought racing. So, what kind of strategies did you use to get through this race and make sure you were there in the end?
Yeah, just in preparing for this race, I won the Derby back in 2017, and I think I was like the 17th best car. I won one of these races a couple years ago, but the biggest thing is just being around at the end. I've always prided myself in points racing and in longer races, just keeping your nose clean and being there at the end. Tonight, obviously, didn't roll our way. We got into a couple accidents there, like I said early on. But I thought we really had a good strategy there before the 52 brought out the yellow. Everybody else had to pit. It was in the middle of those cycles, but Shane and I still had 90 laps left in the tank. So I thought strategy-wise, I thought we were in really good shape there early on. Obviously, the caution came out there, and it kind of ruined Jake's race and Mark's race because they had, pitted under green. But initial strategy, we did everything right. I think I lacked a little bit of execution coming through the field and not realizing that, there was more than 200 laps to go. And it just got too crazy in an area we put ourselves in. So Shane just did a good job getting through the pack, aggressively. He averaged about 3 or 4 cars per caution there when we had those cautions back to back. And I think I went backwards more than I went forward there, just trying to be patient, and it kind of hurt us there. So it is what it is. We'll move on. We'll take our second, and we'll try again next year.
All righty. Well, Brandon, congratulations on your second place finish here tonight, and you also picked up a street stock victory earlier on this week, so congratulations there as well. But
yeah, it's been a really fun week. I've had awesome support from Drew Krybeck at Epic Media the last 5 or 6 years in sim racing. So huge thanks to him. We had an awesome Miami Vice paint scheme tonight. Something him and I have always wanted to do. Cody Thompson at Loco Toco Designs, Dan Vining at Pixelated Speed, everybody that helps out. Going into this big race season, I think we've got some good momentum. And we'll see what happens. But thanks, guys, for the broadcast. Appreciate it.
Yep, congratulations once again, and we wish you luck in your future endeavors. So, that was second place Brandon Wilkinson, and now we will speak with our third place driver, Nathan Coaster. Well, Nate, we knew you were going to be a heavy hitter coming into this one. We saw you and Zach Nichols, as well as Shane Williamson, Brandon Wilkinson, all those guys up towards the top of the standings in practice all of last night and today. And you qualified in the third position, brought it home third. Just give us a brief description of how exactly your race went.
I just being decent, I guess, was the biggest thing, and just keeping the car up front. Shaney, he did pretty good. He was out front most of the time, but he played the different strategy of, kind of being more conservative and not risking running out of fuel, whereas I definitely cut it close. But, I think, playing with different strategies, I was just worried about, staying up front, keeping track position. With a lot of these races come down to, if you are back in 10th, you're in the hornet's nest, and you're really in danger of getting wrecked. So I just wanted to stay up front and minimize my time back there, and I did that. I made all 406 laps, if I'm not mistaken, and the car in one piece all weekend, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we saw you play the fuel strategy 2 times in this race, one time catching a very lucky break, just about having to pit. The couple cars in front of you, or a couple cars behind you, actually did have to pit. They were on the same strategy as you, but luckily you were able to save just a little bit more and sneak away with that one. And then later in the race, you saved almost like double the run and were able to keep your car up front right there. Just unfortunately lost the lead to Shane Williamson in the later stages of the race, but luckily able to still bring your P1 Performance number 53 machine back home in third place. But I'll let you have an opportunity right now to thank whoever you got to thank. I'm sure it took a lot of people to get your number 53 in third.
Yeah, start off with Alex X and Jimmy Gauker. Those two didn't have the cleanest race, which sucks, but nonetheless we had a good time doing it. Everybody that put time into this race. It was a lot of fun. McDermott Equipment Solutions, C-Tech, FLF Race Cars, and P1 Performance. Just had a lot of fun. I can't wait for next year already.
Yeah, and as you said, it was definitely a lot of fun, and already looking forward to next year. But I'm sure there's a lot of other times we're going to see you here on the WD Broadcasting Network. Until then, so I wish you luck in your future endeavors, and we'll see you back here maybe in Victory Lane.
10-4, thank you.
Alrighty, folks. Nathan Koester, driver of the number 53 machine, bringing it home in the third place spot here tonight. And now, maybe one of the more interesting interviews that we're going to hear, Matt Kemp coming home in the fourth spot here tonight. Well, Matt, we obviously saw your qualifying run, and you scraped the wall, and you had to start from 33rd, and I'm pretty sure by lap 100 you were fighting within the top 5 for the victory. So tell us how exactly your race went and how you managed to get from 33rd to the 4th position right here.
Oh yeah, that was a backup car for sure in qualifying. That's my excuse for the race, why I ran 4th. But no, that was definitely quite the race. Honestly, forgot that I started that far back just because it was such a long race, and that was so long ago now. But yeah, missed a few big wrecks coming up through the field, and then honestly didn't get involved in anything until I pitted later on, and something happened in front of me. But way cleaner than I thought it would be for my race. I expected to finish last and on my lid, but I'll take a 4th out of it.
Yeah, and we saw you start back there and just methodically work your way up through the field. Unfortunately for a couple of your teammates, Cy Bowen and Zach Nichols, they didn't have quite the race that they strived to, but fortunately you were able to put one of the No Chance Motorsports machines on the top 5. What's that mean to you?
Yeah, that's great. It's kind of funny because I feel like I'm like the slowest one out of all 3 of us at this late model stuff. But I mean, I'll take it. It's good for us, and happy about it.
Alrighty, well.
And two, real quick. Sorry,
No, you're good.
Thanks to them for practicing and everything with me, and definitely would not be at the pace that I'm at right now without their competition. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you took the words right out of my mouth right there. I was just getting ready to wonder who exactly you wanted to thank that helped put your number 1 machine in the top 5 and 4th place here tonight. But you got to thank your guys at No Chance Motorsports. So congratulations tonight, coming home in the 4th spot. We wish you luck in your future endeavors, and we might see you in the Gambler.
Yeah, for sure. And thank you guys for broadcasting, putting it on, and making it all happen. It was a pretty cool event, and definitely be back next year if you do it again.
Alrighty, well, thank you very much, and congratulations on your 4th place run.
Sure, appreciate you guys.
Yep. Alrighty, and coming home in the 5th spot in the last one of our interviewing slots here tonight, the number 2 machine of Greg Evans. Well, Greg, we kind of saw you a little bit of everything tonight. We saw you at some points up within the top 5 and other times fighting to stay on the lead lap. Just give us a brief explanation of how your race went tonight.
Yeah, it definitely didn't go as planned. Just had a off night. We had a pretty good starting position, but just got in trouble early. Had to work our way back through. Just like a ping pong ball tonight. We caused some wrecks we shouldn't have caused, and I apologize to guys we affected. But at the end of the race, I was just trying to stay out of trouble, and then I felt like I needed to go for it the last 50 laps, and just kind of got lucky, got to 5th again. But overall a good night, but not exactly what we wanted tonight.
Yeah, and exactly what you said right there. Not exactly what you wanted tonight. And that kind of describes the story of a lot of people. We saw a lot of guys in the top 5 for some of the race and then ended up not finishing. But luckily enough, you were able to get back there in the end and put the number 2 machine up in the top 5. I'm sure it took a lot of work and it was a team effort. So I'll let you have the opportunity right here to thank whoever you got to thank before we wrap things up.
Yeah, definitely appreciate it. I think Steel Horse Racing, Sim Labs, iRacing, iFlags, Logitech. Just and thank Jim for hosting the race. It's always fun trying to come out here and win these things, and it's like I lost a few pounds in that, so my wife will be proud.
All righty. Well, congratulations on your successful workout and a 5th place run here tonight.
All right, appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Yep. All righty, folks. Well, that was Greg Evans, your 5th place finisher here tonight. And as we push towards the 4-hour mark of this broadcast, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out and tuning into the WD Broadcasting Network. I'm sure it was a lot of fun for Colton as well as it was for me. So I'd like to thank everybody. I'd like to thank Colton for sticking this out for me, Brooks Motorsports for helping put on this event, as well as all you guys in the chat below watching. But I believe that's going to wrap us up here on the WD Broadcasting Network. We'll be back tomorrow night with the Mid-South iRacing Tour in the 358 Modified Series. So you're not going to want to miss it there. And then we'll also be back with them Wednesday night, and Thursday night is our WD Broadcasting Network Super Series. So a good action-packed week of racing you're not going to want to miss. And Colton, would you like to say a few words before we wrap this one up?
Yeah, tonight was a very good race. Very chaotic and fun. Watch these guys battle it out for 400 laps around here. There was a time where I thought this race was never going to end because we were getting yellow after yellow after yellow, and with the comeback stories like Matt Kemp and Zach Nichols had one going until a wreck unfortunately took him out. Just a lot can develop over 400 laps, and I got my first taste of a super long oval race night. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. But congratulations to Shane Williamson. You were the most consistent driver I've ever seen on iRacing, and Brandon Wilkinson, Nathan Coaster, and Matt Kemp and Greg Evans. Great run by all of them to finish up in the top 5. It was just a great race, and big shout out and thanks to Jim Foos for allowing me and Winston to broadcast the race. It was a lot of fun, and hopefully we get the call back for next year.
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the head right there. Big shout out to Jim Foos for allowing us to put his big race on our page here on Facebook, and we hope to do it next year. But nonetheless, congratulations to Shane Williamson and the rest of his team. But that's going to do it for us here tonight at the fairgrounds. And we will see you guys next time on the WD Broadcasting Network. Everybody enjoy the rest of your evening and your rest of your weekend before we get started with Monday. So good night, everybody, and thank you for watching.